you looking for a high-quality education provider? Are you looking for an educational institution that is 100% focused on Black history? Well, you have come to the right place. At AE Learning, we provide exceptional African history education, training, resources and courses to an international customer base. At AE Learning, our e-learning courses deliver high-quality content and support teachers and students alike, ensuring that they have what they need to achieve their learning goals. Go to aelearning.net to select from our comprehensive library of multimedia e-learning courses. Our courses come complete with tutorials from our African history teachers. Within our e-learning courses, you'll also benefit from high-quality videos to assist in your learning. Throughout our courses, quizzes and examinations are provided so you can test your knowledge. A generous library of downloadable resources complements your learning, and in addition, there are materials to read through. Go to aelearning.net to learn more. AE Learning, your source for quality African history education.
Peace, fam. We are live again. Donnie Samir, Search for Huru, on this beautiful, warm Friday afternoon here in Atlanta, Georgia. Hit that like button. Please hit that like button. Also, make sure you share and make sure you subscribe. I would greatly appreciate it. Got a couple of announcements to make before we jump into today's topic. Let me read this comment real quick. Kagame is a Western corrupt genocidal puppet. Don't make such comparison. Well, can you say one is a puppet of the West and one is a puppet of Russia? Is that, can you say that? But we're gonna have the conversation. We're gonna have the debate here shortly. Let me get through these announcements. Then, I'll put the link in the chat room, and then you're more than welcome to call in. If you disagree, you're more than welcome to explain and go into detail on why you disagree or why you choose Traore or choose Kagame. But let's get into the announcements. Sierra Leone, this passport. Hey, I want to give a special shout out and congratulations to Wodi Maya. Wodi Maya, he got an AES passport from Burkina Faso. That's what's up. That's what's up. He got an AES passport from Burkina Faso. So that's what's up. So congratulations to Wodi Maya. But this right here, Sierra Leone passport, back on the table. Sierra Leone is offering citizenship to the diaspora. All you have to do, so number one, they have opened it up to more DNA companies. So at first it was only African ancestry. I'm sorry. Now you can use Ancestry.com, 23andMe, and CRI. So they have opened it up to other DNA test providers. Also, the new rule is you have to come twice. So the days of pulling up and getting your passport in under 2 weeks, those days are over. So now you have to come twice. The swearing-in ceremonies are going to be held every April and December. Again, every April and December. So Uncle Sam, we'll get into that. We've been talking about that. So visit donfo.africa to learn more. Again, please visit donfo.africa to learn more. Also, when you guys sign up for the email list, join the mailing list. All right, I'm going to call you. All right, you are going to get a phone call from me. You will receive a phone call from me. I'm going to call. I'm going to say hello from my phone number, not a burner. From my actual phone number, not a burner. So please visit donfo.africa. We are rolling to Senegal end of this month. It's May 2nd in 25 days. So about a little over 3 weeks. We'll be heading to Senegal. Then we're going to Nigeria in August for the Oshun Festival. Again, Nigeria in August for the Oshun Festival. Then we are rolling to Zanzibar in September for Safari Blue. Then Namibia and South Africa in November for Amapiano and Dunes. We're going to climb Dunes, listen to Amapiano, go to South Africa, go to Cape Town, all that good stuff. Have a great time. And then we are rolling back to Sierra Leone in December. So if you are interested in joining us in Sierra Leone or any of these trips, come join us. Come have a good time. Visit donfo.africa to learn more. Would love to have you all on a tour. Come join us. Come have fun. Come enjoy it. We'll love to have you guys. Let's jump into today's topic. Ibrahim Traore, Paul Kagame. When we speak about leadership in Africa and when we talk about leaders doing the right thing, even though Paul Kagame could be a little controversial at times. And people are even saying that Traore might be a little bit controversial. These are the two names that come up when it comes to great examples of African leadership. So who's the best? Somebody made a comment, I think it was either yesterday or the day before, in regards to the amount of, or somewhat, and guys, excuse me if I'm wrong, terror attacks that have taken place in Burkina Faso and innocent bystanders being killed. And they said that doesn't happen in Rwanda because Paul Kagame, he has security on point, and Paul Kagame is more on the offense. Not saying Traore is on the offense. And you guys are, I'll put the link in the chat. You guys are more than welcome to call in. But they said Kagame is more on the offensive in regards to ridding the the terrorism issue that could pose a threat to Rwanda. That's what somebody said. But listen, I'm going to put the link in the chat room. You guys are more than welcome to call in and say who you think is doing a better job. Rwanda with Paul Kagame, or Burkina Faso with Ibrahim Traore. You guys are more than welcome to call in. Yeah, there was like a national protest, or worldwide protest, I'm sorry, in defense of Traore with the recent comments by General Langley. Go ahead, Cashanova. Unmute yourself.
Hello?
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, this is a real good topic. Peace, Diners. Thanks for having me on the panel.
Yeah, go ahead.
My honest, humble opinion, I believe that Kagame is the most qualified leader in Africa, and even more so than Traore, who is really, really popular right now. One reason, and my main reason, is because security. Kagame takes security very serious, and he invests into his military industrial complex in Rwanda. So, we got a man who.
See, man, y'all calling all these Obama phones, man.
I'm sorry. Hello.
Yeah.
Sorry about that, Dinez.
Go ahead.
So yeah, you got a man who takes security serious, Kagame, and then you got another guy, Traore, who is battling jihadists in Burkina Faso. And just recently, in August of 2024, there were 200 plus people who were killed in a terrorist attack in Burkina Faso. And that's soldiers plus innocent civilians. So there are people dying all the time, like on the border, trying to secure the border. So you have insurgent groups in that area, but you don't have too many insurgent groups invading Rwanda. And yeah, you got little small skirmishes on the border of the DRC, but that's more so them about them going on the offense and gaining resources opposed to them playing defense like Traore's doing. He's kind of playing defense right now, so he's being tested as well. And it's been 4 years, and he got the Russians with him now, but he kicked out the French, and I don't see how it's any better with the Russians if 200 plus people are being killed.
Mm. Go ahead, woman. Mute yourself.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, you must be on your Bluetooth in your car, but it's okay. Go ahead.
Yeah, so good afternoon, everyone. First off, I don't think it's a fair comparison. Paul Kagame has had, like a 20-year head start in front of Traore. It's kind of too early to compare, I feel like. But if we are going to compare, Kagame has never said cut ties with any of the major powers in the same way that Traore has. Kagame, I do believe, is a puppet for Western interests. Just because the country that he's in charge of looks all nice and glitz and glam, and what I've heard is that only the capital city looks the way people think it does, but if you go into the outskirts, it's not so nice. But the reason it looks that way is because when you're serving the interests of the West, the way that you keep the people calm so you can continue to do that is by giving people what they think they need. So people say, oh, it's so nice, it's so clean, et cetera, but there really is no freedom there because you're serving the interests of the West. And if at any time you decide you're not playing the game the West wants you to play, then your country's not going to look so nice and shiny and clean and pretty. Traore, on the other hand, has really taken a stand and really decided to kind of do it on his own, as they say in America, pull himself up, his country, up by their own two bootstraps, not putting his hand out. So obviously, the partnership that they have with Russia is completely different. He's not serving Russian interests. It's a mutually, I think, it's a mutually beneficial partnership. Right now, they're fighting. They need equipment that they don't have. They need the intelligence that Russia can provide. And so it makes sense to have that partnership. But Russia is not coming in there and removing resources without compensating them fairly. Now I've read that Russia now has one of their companies now mining gold there. So we see how that goes. I'm sure Traore is not going to allow them to just come in and take the gold out and not fairly compensate them. But with all that said, it's still really too early to kind of compare, who's a better leader. And like I said, Kagame has had like a 20-year advantage over Traore. So clearly, his country's going to be more secure when he's been in power for much, much longer. It wouldn't really make sense at this point to compare the two.
All right, let me back. Go ahead, Call.
All right, peace to everybody. And yeah, it's your boy Kalie from Congo. Yeah, the question, yes, this is how I'll go with it to really, and this is what I can advise everybody to go with this question. Or maybe let me start with the answer. I believe, coming from the Great Lake region, as somebody who have lived in Rwanda before Paul Kagame, like in the 89, 88, even if I was younger, and visit Rwanda during Paul Kagame, of course, I'll have to give him some credit. But I'll say Traore is a great leader. Traore is the best leader in Africa than Paul Kagame. Why? And why am I saying this? You see, Paul Kagame. Paul Kagame is a Western agent. And if anybody want to know, there is many books written on this research book, like Holocaust in Congo.
Is it better to be an Eastern agent?
Hey, let him finish. Let him finish. I'm trying to hear this.
Yeah. How the U.S. killed democracy in Rwanda and Congo. There is just many free journal. You can go just to blackagendareport.com and Google Del Kagame and read articles which are written there. This is a newspaper, Black-owned, Pan-African. And this is another thing. Kagame, is a Bill Clinton, Tony Blair, and the Israeli agent. You can read this in many research reports. And they are the one who have backed him and they've helped him build the country. Do you know that in Rwandan institution, there is a lot of Israelis, Americans, why? I mean, these people, them folks. Israeli, British, and American in Rwandan institutions. But Traore, when you go to Traore, Traore is not building his country by invading another country and unaliving millions of people. He's not doing that. Traore is self-reliant on his own resources and leadership. And if you ask even Pan-African themselves, let's say, like if you do a survey among Rwandan who are in the diaspora or Rwandan, where they are free to speak, they'll tell you between Traore and Paul Kagame, they will choose Ibrahim Traore. Because
Why
Traore,
you be lying
do you see
on,
like if it was Kagame who was in the in the mess with, who was being attacked as Traore is attacked, I don't believe that Pan-African who are knowledgeable would gather and organize mass protests like that one. That's what people don't know, So
Okay.
So it's maybe to not be to monopolize the word. I'll stop by there. So I believe Traore is the best leader for Africa. He's a good example than Kagame, because if African leaders try to copy Kagame, it will be unaliving millions of Africans all over the continent. For what? Unalive millions to build Kigali and a few roads here and there? I don't think that's not a model for African. That's what I can say for now.
All right, let me pass it to GG. Go ahead, GG.
Hey guys, can you hear me? Can you hear me?
Yeah, loud and clear.
Yeah, so I don't like comparing the two because again, Paul Kagame been in power for like almost 30 years, like 20 years plus. And another the lady, she said like he's an agent of the West. Again, this narrative. Again, if you have trade with other countries, you're an agent of the West for some weird reason. Meanwhile, they live in America. Like who are that lady that spoke earlier? She lives in America. She paid tax to America. Felix isn't an agent of the West, even though he made a deal with America. And he hired Eric Prince, the man who says we need to colonize Africa. The white dude that said we need to take African resources for Europe. The Eric Prince, the mercenary, but Felix signed a deal with him. His mercenaries in the Congo, but that's not selling out to the West. And again, Ibrahim Traore, he got his own. He had a lot to do. He has jihadists. He has jihadists dealing with him. He got like Algeria backing these jihadists, and it's kind of not the same with Paul Kagame. Again, he came in through like he fought a genocide against like Interahamwe Hutu extremists. And that was years ago. So he got rid of that problem years ago. So he was able to build a country because he got rid of like all the threats in his country and they left like years ago. That was 20 years ago. So he had 20 years of security, pretty much, of total control to develop the country. So it's not going to be the same with Ibrahim Traore, who got in power through a coup. And again, this jihadist was a threat before he came to power. Like, this has been a thing for years and years in like in the Sahel region. And so now he's dealing with it. So I don't think you can like compare the two. But, I support Ibrahim Traore, I support Paul Kagame. And again, he always supports people that live outside the Congo, outside of Rwanda, these diasporans. Like, you can't trust these people. Like, some of them are good people, some are like Interahamwe and like FDLR supporters. That's why Al supports them. If there are people that's in Rwanda, he always would ignore them because Rwanda supports Paul Kagame, like Burkina Faso supports Ibrahim Traore. If you go to the people in Burkina Faso, they love Ibrahim Traore. If you go to people in Rwanda, they love Paul Kagame. Even in France, there was like a demonstration of Burkina Faso diasporans that were against Ibrahim Traore. Again, you can't trust diasporans. They're usually like children of the elite that are like mad because they're in exile and they can't go to their country because nobody likes them. Like again, in France, there was recent protests against Ibrahim Traore and shit. And again, I guess those people are like children of like the elites of the previous governments. That's why you can't trust them. But Al always does this, where we always deal with people who live outside of Rwanda. It's never the Rwandans inside the country who supports Paul Kagame. It's never that. It's always like outside groups. But I support both of them. Paul Kagame is a great leader. He's a great leader, and Ibrahim Traore is also a great leader. But he's just coming in. He has a lot to deal with. So I don't think it's fair to compare the two. Next, whoever wants to speak next.
All right, let me go ahead, Brandon.
Okay, there's this quote, Dinus. When ambition gets out of hand.
Hey, Brandon, are your phone's crackling? Are you on your phone?
I thought I had a great connection.
Well, go ahead, but we getting a crackling. You on your Obama phone today?
Oh, okay. Maybe I'll just back up. Is it better now?
Okay. Just go ahead.
Okay.
Yeah.
So there's this saying: when ambition gets out of hand, we are vulnerable to manipulation by others. You have a lot of people who are hungry for change on the continent of Africa. You have a lot of people who now, because of the internet, they're able to see the day-to-day dealings of what's going on in Africa. That makes them hyper ambitious. But because they are now hyper ambitious, they're easily manipulated. These people, like Omakal, know zero about Ibrahim Traore. They know nothing. This guy, 3 years ago, no one knew who this person was. That's a fact. All of a sudden, they're experts on Ibrahim Traore. They know for a fact in their soul that this guy is all good, on the up and up, and he is about to be the new savior of Africa. Do you understand how ignorant these statements that are being made are? Like, the guy has only been in power like 2 years, legitimately, right? Not legitimate, but he's been in power 2 years. In the 2 years, bro has canceled elections. He has silenced the media. He hasn't eliminated the Islamic terrorist threat. As a matter of fact, most reports are saying he's losing ground to the terrorists. And he's basically radio silent as a leader, only speaking occasionally, other than when he went to go to Russia to beg Vladimir Putin to help him or do something. How someone takes that limited information and now crown this guy NBA champion is like similar to what I feel like people do with LeBron, except for the fact that LeBron does have some accomplishments. This guy has not accomplished anything at all. Not one completed project, not one trade deal secured, not one significant victory over Islamists, none of those things. But they know in their soul that he is the king of Africa. On the other hand, Paul Kagame has taken a country that was impoverished just like most other African countries and raised it to the point where it is now listed as a developing country. The economy is booming. All types of companies are coming in to invest in that small country and moving and bringing business and manufacturing into that company. This is another case of Black over romanticizing things that really aren't all that great. Ibrahim Traore, wait a minute. I know I'm hurting your feelings. Ibrahim Traore has yet to have an election. Paul Kagame did not launch a coup and overthrow his government. He actually was working under the president, and then he took the presidency. That's even if you say he's a dictator and all that stuff y'all said about him, his presidency is legitimate. Because why? He did it the right way. Ibrahim Traore has taken power. But what Ibrahim Traore has not done is prove that he's qualified to run any country, because we have not seen anything accomplished there. We hear stories, we hear reports about tomato factories. Bro, you got whole terrorists in that country deleting people, and y'all out here cheering about a tomato factory. Bro, I think that we need to give it a little bit of time. I think that we need to let this guy accomplish something first so we will know if he's qualified. Because if that guy goes another 2 years without doing anything, Dynast, Black people are willing to let this guy be a dictator for 20 years before they even begin to question whether or not he's a legitimate leader or if he's an effective leader. Africa does not have that kind of time. This is the world is changing. The economics of the world are changing. Burkina Faso will find itself stuck in the past if it does not validate or verify Ibrahim Traore rapidly and get on the right track economically and do whatever it takes to deal with that Islamist threat out there in Burkina Faso. I don't care what your Cuddy guy who doesn't know basic history or Delroy, just an angry dude, want to curse people out on the internet saying, those people deserve a chance at a life, Dynast. And I'm telling you, not a single person, including you, Dynast, would want to live in Burkina Faso right now under that situation. So anyone who's cheering that crap, they're just being a pure hypocrite because we don't even know if bro is, we don't even know where's bro's political opposition, because that's how you know a true dictator and one that's not a dictator. You don't, your political opposition is vocal, but they're not screaming that you're doing any type of human rights violations. This guy has silenced his opposition. I wonder how. This is more African dictatorship going on. History is repeating itself, and these people are desperate for change. They are gullible, and they're supporting things that they don't even know about. They don't even have information about. It's just ignorance and it's goofy, and this is why we are where we are as a people.
All right, Gasher, you want to respond? And I'm gonna pass it to Miss Kofunya.
Hey, me and Brandon, we 100 square on this. Don't make any mistakes about it. Shahori, you know what I do disagree with is he hasn't had enough time. I think he has had enough time. I think it's been like 4 years. I don't think it's been 2 years. So 4 years, that's a half a decade, you know, like, and then this terrorist attack just happened this past August in 2024. Like, you know, this is after significant time that you done had Wagner Group over there. And you still hear things like, oh, there's no place we can't go here. It's not an issue of you not being able to go places in the country. It's the issue is you being able to secure the whole country and make sure outsiders can't get in. People who are unwanted can't get in. I don't know. Maybe it got something to do with these people being Islamic. I think Traore's Islamic too. You know, like, so that's another reason why I feel like he probably wouldn't be fit to be the African leader, because I don't hear of Kagame being religious. You know, I hear of tribalism and stuff like that, but it's more so in a defensive posture. So
Is
I
it a
think
conflict of interest for a
was that again?
Muslim leader to be fighting Muslim terrorists, and
I
somehow
think
those
so. I think it's
he's
like you're not gonna really effectively try to go after these people if y'all of the same religion.
he keeps saying he's canceling elections because of security, but he's not capable of securing anything. From reports, he's losing ground. So if you're saying security is the top priority and you're losing ground, dude, I'm sorry. I know everybody wants to glaze this guy, but maybe you're not the best choice because you ain't securing nothing.
And
This is a
maybe
legitimate.
Russia isn't the best ally, because
People keep
Russia is not. It's not any different. I didn't hear of 200 people dying when the French was in there.
people
Maybe I
keep
missed something.
people keep telling me to shut up, right? But this is typical. Even within the black family, if you say something, it doesn't matter how true it is or valid, you getting popped in the mouth and told to shut up. That's just black people when they're guilty and they know you have a good point that they can't refute. Guys, stop being children. These are reasonable questions that need to be answered. I ain't got nothing
I
against
love
this
both.
dude.
I love
Hey,
both.
guys,
Both
let me
aspects.
pass the mic to Kofunya. Go ahead, Kofunya.
Hi, greetings and salutations to the family. And I really love this topic. And when I saw the topic of this person versus that person, I agree with there was another lady, her name was Woman, that's saying that Kagame had more years in office to do what he needs to do to make his country look all pretty and everything. And the other thing, look, we in the diaspora, right? I have a background in the Caribbean and in Africa, but I was born in America. And we know how the colonizers are, okay? Some people like, you know, the whole Americanized BS, you know, that goes on here. And I think Torre is practicing tough love, because all of these westernized countries have been feeding off of Africa like vampires. And I think enough is enough. You know, France is taking, you know, France, America, all of these people, you know, are upset because finally somebody is not a puppet and selling out their people. You understand? The reason why somebody says, oh, why are they impoverished? Well, they're impoverished because the leaders, the so-called puppet leaders, have been selling out their people. There's no reason why African people on the continent should be poor. There's absolutely no reason for that. And the other thing is that we have weak leaders in Africa, such as in Zimbabwe. Why is Zimbabwe government paying the colonizers and the farmers back? Is that their reparations? Only they can get reparations? I don't understand that kind of mindset. And then for the general, the so-called general, who's not my general at all, is going over talking about trying to overthrow the brother Ibrahim Traore. You know, he has no rights. America has no rights. You can have allies. I don't think there's anything the matter with having allies. Like people talk about China, but they're not trying to come and rule and, you know, well, if I do this, you have to do this. Neither China or Russia are doing that. And I want to know where, what's his name was talking about Traore, he hasn't done anything. Where are you finding this information? I've been looking at several legitimate YouTubers who are on the ground, who are seeing the improvements that Ibrahim is doing. What other, and there's other African countries like Niger are joining up together, and there's another one. There's 3 of them that are working together to get rid of the vampires in Africa. You have black vampires, yes. We have a few, I'm not going to say. And you have white, you know, vampires, the West. The West has proven who they are. But when you talk about romanticizing Africa, what are you talking about? You know, we in the diaspora knows how the colonizers have affected our people as well as the people on the continent, because both people were colonized on Africa as well as we were colonized here in America. And I say, I stand with Ibrahim Traore, and the time is now. And that's it. That's what I have to say for right now. Until
the time is now to what?
The time is now to unite. Like Bob Marley said, Africa unite for the benefits of its people.
100%.
Bob Marley was a biracial Jamaican.
So yeah, but he was about Africa. He dealt with his African roots because his mother, his mother was from Haiti. Okay?
Yeah.
So what are you talking about? He has
that boy ain't got nothing to do with Africa. What I got to say to that?
Say again?
What I have to say to that is Traore, because he doesn't have a track record of being able to defend.
What are you talking about? What are you watching? Who are you watching?
Well, I'm going off of the terrorist attack that happened in August of 2020.
He's exhibiting mature thinking, not romanticization of the situation.
Brandon.
Say, what do you say about these leaders who have sold out their own people?
I agree with you, but did you hear the quote that I gave in the beginning? When ambition is unchecked, when you're too ambitious, you're easy to be manipulated. The only thing we're saying is, why don't you guys wait for Traore to actually accomplish something, so then you will know if he's the right man for the job? Y'all done gave the guy the keys and don't even know if he can drive yet.
First of all, Brandon, he has accomplished, as the sister said, he has accomplished a lot. Now, specifically, you mentioned about the tomato factory. That's a big accomplishment. You know why? Because Burkina Faso farms tomatoes. And what they were doing in the past is sending the actual tomatoes to France to be processed, canned, whatever have you, and then they were buying it back from France. So for him to build a tomato factory where they can now produce the final products themselves, it saves that country money, and now they can also sell that product, which makes that country more money. That is a big accomplishment. Number two, he took the gold mines back, and they're now state owned, which is again more money for that country now, and he's building a refinery to refine gold. Now hold on, Brandon. The last time I was on the same panel that you were on, you made this big deal about why women can't lead because A, B, C, D. Now you as a man, hold on, you as a man should know that when you're leading, you're not laser focused on one specific thing. He's not going to be laser focused solely on the jihadists. Yes, he's taking care of that, but he's also building schools, he's building housing, he's building the factories, he's building roads. Hold on. He's building roads, he's building factories, and it is a big deal because again, you're not going to be laser focused on one specific thing. When you're a leader, can I finish talking, please? When you spoke, I didn't interrupt you. He's not wasn't me. I'm talking to the other gentleman who's speaking. When you're a leader, you have to be able to. Can I speak, please? I'm not a radical black feminist. I'm totally against feminism. But of course, you being a hater of women will say something like that because when women speak, you don't want to listen. Anywho, like I was saying to Brandon, when you are leading, you're not laser focused on one specific thing. You have to be leading in all different areas for your people. You can't just be dealing with the jihadists, and meanwhile, the kids have no school to go to, the women have no hospital to go to when they're giving birth. There's no road for them to drive on. No, you take care of everything. That's what he's been doing. So when we speak about Ibrahim and why we are supporting him, no, we're not romanticizing him, but we're giving him credit where credit is due. I've heard you get on this panel and put down other black men. Please speak to Brandon. Can you be quiet and speak to Brandon, please? I don't know you from nowhere. I've seen Brandon speak plenty of time before. I've seen you on this panel before talking about how black men never want to do anything for themselves and never want to pick themselves up and look to white men for A, B, C, D. This is a young black man who is doing exactly that. He's doing for himself, doing for his people. He's not reliant on white men. So I don't understand why you would be in support, why you would not be in support of him, why you'd be speaking out against him. At this point, it's looking like you just like to come on here and cause problems and argue. Because I don't understand why you wouldn't be willing to give him his props.
He's looking at Russia. Hold on real quick. See, and this is what I'm saying to you, woman. You're saying that because
there is also a first electric car manufacturer in all Africa.
Can I please respond to what she just asked me, please? There's no one who's going to cause problems on here. There's no one who's going to argue except for people who are trying to silence critical criticism. Or listen, hold on, bro. All I'm saying is this. I ain't saying nothing bad about Ibrahim Traore. That's how I know y'all not really thinking or looking at this with real mature lenses. I'm saying if you have a terrorist threat where 200 people is getting deleted in your country, right? And your primary reason for overthrowing your government was for security. When you produce, you can't tell me, hey, B, I got to come in your house to keep you safe from the robbers. And then when the robbers break in and steal my stuff, you say, hey, I made you an omelet. That's basically what's going on here. You took over the government claiming you would be able to provide security. This country is not secure, but you're getting accolades for building a tomato factory. I'm pretty sure that the last leader, hold on real quick. Hold on, I didn't interrupt nobody. Hold on real quick. I'm pretty sure the last leader, I'm pretty sure you didn't need to overthrow the government to build a tomato factory.
Yeah, but did he build a tomato factory, Brandon?
Like I said, before he built that factory, they were exporting tomatoes to be processed and then buying them back. Does that make any sense? Tomatoes that they grow. So, of course, he said, and he never said, oh, I'm only in power because I want to stop the jihadis. And he has made
exactly what he said.
He has, of course, he wants to do that, but there's other things that a leader does. And he has made ground because he's been able to resettle villagers that had to run for their lives because of the jihadists. Some of them have been able to return. I think there are like 3 or 4 villages that they were able to resettle. Okay,
hey, listen, when it comes to
I need to pass the mic. Go ahead, Wildflower.
Hi, good afternoon or good morning, good evening, everyone. I would definitely say that Traore is better than Paul Kagame. As somebody who's from East Africa, I know the story very well of my backyard. how Kagame came into power, what he's been doing in Congo. Kagame is not a Pan-Africanist. He's working for Western interests, which we all know. You can't criticize Kagame in Kigali.
Yes.
The last time he won 99% of the vote, which was fake, and a lot of his criticizers, they have to run to the UK for shelter because you cannot criticize. Yes, he's built the roads and the country is clean, but where's that money coming from? This is what's happening in the Congo. He's not a Pan-Africanist. What he's doing, what's happening in Congo shows he's completely not on the level Traore is on. Traore at the moment is not just thinking about Burkina Faso. He's thinking about what's happening in Mali, what's happening in Niger. And yes, it's only been 18 months or 2 years. I don't know exactly, but he's achieved a lot because they've actually formed an alliance. A protective alliance where they're going to stand up for each other. He's taking back the gold mines from the British mining companies. Huh? How many African dictators, which most of them are, I'm not going to sugarcoat anything, a lot of our African presidents are Western agents, and we know that. And when I hear people say, oh, they should have elections, don't you know that elections can be stolen through a democratic coup? Yeah, there's not only a military coup, we have democratic coups in the ballot box. You go and you vote for the person you want, and you see people stuffing the ballot box, running away, intimidating voters. I don't know why people assume that these elections are free and fair. We know it's not. That's not happening. So we're like, oh, let's have elections as if it's going to be some shining, great elections where the real person that should win wins. It doesn't happen. And now the way he got power is not ideal because the West wants us to have democratic elections where they select who our leader is going to be. It doesn't matter who we vote for. I voted in African elections. It doesn't matter. It's who the West wants, who's going to allow them to steal our resources, and they'll put money into that. We've had elections where we know it's been stolen. We've seen all the dodginess, but what do? And then we have people that will say, you know what? Let's try the military way. Yeah, because we can't trust our elections. Yeah, and people being here, why are they having elections? Why are you having elections? Because elections don't work, okay? We have people that have been elected in Africa, they've been in power for 30, 40 years, all of them Western agents. Our roads are not getting fixed. We have old medicine in hospitals. We have no schools for our children. Oh, we voted. How? Look at us now. Look how many things Ibrahim is not just trying to, he's awakening African people all over Africa to show them, listen, it is possible to stand up to Western imperialism. Don't
But
be
you live in the
afraid.
West and
Okay,
you
hold
live
on, let me
under a
respond
country
back
with
to this.
democratic
No, let me
elections.
respond back.
Can I finish? Can I finish? Can I finish?
You said the same thing over and over.
Yeah.
You got
Can
30
I
seconds.
finish? Can I finish?
You
Can
got
I
30
finish?
seconds.
Thank you, Janet.
You got 30 seconds. I'm gonna pass it to Mika. Go ahead.
Okay. Yeah. He's setting an example, and Western governments don't like it because he's showing there is no excuse for these so-called democratic elected presidents.
Yes.
That go hand in cap to the West every time begging to put money for our budgets. We shouldn't be begging Westerners to fund our budgets. We shouldn't. We have all the resources and we voted all the voting. Where's our wealth? We have no growth. So Ibrahim Traore cannot even be compared to Kagame. End of.
All right, go ahead.
Dinus, I need to respond. Dinus, can I speak to this real quick?
I got to pass it to Mika. Then let me get to the panel first.
Kagame is Traore's #1 advisor.
Go ahead, Mika.
Not really.
Yeah, so basically I was just going to say that people in the West don't understand two things about Africa, which is they don't understand the geopolitics.
But you live in the West, though.
But they also don't understand the Western economic system. So basically what I'm trying to say is that to make an African leader successful, he needs to do two things. He needs to pursue rapid industrialization, like manufacturing, which is one thing that the Western economic system fights against in Africa. And he needs to nationalize the commodities like the mines and make them state-owned. So somebody would make light of a tomato factory because they don't understand. For example, if you look at Ivory Coast, they're the top producing cocoa producer in the world, right? But they import chocolate, they import products made out of cocoa. So basically the West is pursuing policies for Africa where we export raw materials and then they give it value through their manufacturing industries and we import it back. and that's what makes us poor at the end of the day. And also the mines, they dodge taxes. They don't pay taxes to our government. So they pursue policies where our mines are not owned by the states, but they are privately owned. So that's what will make a leader successful. So you're making fun of a tomato factory because you don't understand that that's easily $1 billion industry in Africa, because we have high volumes of these products. We have the highest volumes of coltan on earth, highest volumes
Nobody
of
made fun of any tomato factory. You're a liar.
reserves, highest reserves of emeralds, of copper, of any product you can think of. We have it. So even just nationalizing or just creating an industry for one product like cocoa will create $1 billion industry. Because if you look at coffee is about 200 and something I think $1 billion as far as the global markets. But Ethiopia and Kenya and Uganda, the countries that export most of this coffee, only get like $2 billion out of that budget. So for us, a good leader in Africa needs to pursue industrialization and manufacturing, and also nationalizing the commodities. And that's why we align with Ibrahim's vision, because that's what he's pursuing. He's pursuing an Africa where the mines are state owned. So now what the West does, they create all this propaganda against China and Russia, and they did that for Zambia as well, because what happens is that the IMF imposes these loans that comes with all these structural adjustment policies. Like if you get an IMF loan, your government can't invest in public services. So you won't have schools, you won't have hospitals, you won't have any, and you have to privatize everything. You privatize all your industries when you get an IMF loan. The Chinese don't come with those kind of agendas. And then also their loans are not ideological. Like the US will give you, USAID is basically promoting and funding LGBT, abortion, and all these things. But Americans think we're getting some type of cash or like some type of charity cash. That's not the case. A lot of this charity aid that's coming back into Africa is donated by mining corporations like Glencore and Barrick Gold to international charities like USAID and whatever international charities you can think of. And they give us that money that they would have paid to our government in taxes. So it's actually our own money that they're giving us back as aid. But when they give us that aid, they give us the conditions that, hey, you're going to have to legalize gay marriage. You're going to have to do all this stuff. That's what I'm saying. Africa doesn't need aid, but we do need leaders that have a goal towards industrialization, because we have the commodities to industrialize, and the West doesn't want that, because that gives them access to our own commodities, which they can produce and then make wealth out of. That's basically what I'm saying. So it's okay to be critical about Ibrahim Traore. If you want to be skeptical, that's okay. But we need more leaders that have his type of mindset. That's what I'm saying.
Brother Delani, go ahead, Brother Delani.
Can I say real quick?
No, you can't. Go ahead, Brother Delani.
Greetings, African family. I want to say that, greetings in the honorable spirit of our great and mighty African ancestors. I want to say that I've been hearing Brendan talk for years now, particularly on your show, Dynast. And Brendan, philosophy thinking is shallow, is petty, is opportunistic. I've never heard nothing deep or sensible come out of this man's mouth. It's all degrading, downgrading, hatred, jealousy, envy. I don't know what kind of thinking he thinks he is. And the only person that believes that stuff is Brendan. Brendan want to hear himself talk. Listen, my people, we are people that have been fighting for our liberation. We need visionaries. We need real leadership across Africa and the Caribbean, Central and South America, wherever we are. We don't have no magic wand. We don't have no fairy dust to create a utopia overnight. You think you can take a country in 2 years, eliminate terrorism? Not even America can eliminate terrorism. Not even UK or Europe. No country can just snap their fingers and eliminate terrorism and industrialize a country overnight. It takes time. And we got to give credit to this young brother who's willing to take that stand, who's willing to take the assassination attempt and to really build for his people. We need to support leaders like this. They need to rise 1,000 type of leaders like this across Africa and the Caribbean to come and help to liberate our people from this colonial mentality, this neo-colonial opportunistic mentality. Brendan type of thinking is a part of the problem. We need real leaders to come and liberate Africa and to build Africa for ourselves. We need science and technology, and we should be free to align ourselves with anyone, any group, any country that will aid us in our liberation, that can provide us with the tool that we need now until we can get it for ourselves. Brendan is so unrealistic in his thinking and shallow in his thinking. I've heard him over for the years I've been listening to this brother, and I'm glad, Dennis, you're giving this opportunity to address him, and so the African family can hear an opposition to this brother. He has no grounding in our liberation, no grounding in the ideological struggle that we as African people has been going through. He sounds like a far-right, MAGA, Heritage Foundation type of thinker.
How did Donald Trump come into this?
He's not even that deep. He's not even that deep. He's shallow. Because the far right, the Heritage Foundation people, they're deep. They got deep policy. They tell you exactly what they're going to do, and they got money to back it. Brendan does love hear himself talk.
Hey, Dennis, they hate Trump because he's a dictator, but they love Traore. He's a dictator.
Brandon, hold on, Brandon. I'm gonna let you respond. Let him finish. I'm gonna let you respond next, Brandon. I'm pass. Go ahead.
You see how shallow that is. You're going to Trump right quick. It's a shallow playbook. You can push a button and you can get everything you want out of him in 5 minutes. Because he's not grounded in any genuine revolutionary thinking. He's not standing on the shoulders of our ancestors. He's not coming with genuine program of reforming and repairing the damage being done to African people. We are a damaged people. For 400 to 500 years, we have been catching hell psychologically, culturally, politically, and economically. Any leader that comes up and take over any country, you're going to have a hard time, and you're going to have to be willing to endure assassination after assassination. You're going to have to be willing to endure criticism, especially these shallow, opportunistic, petty type of criticism that I'm hearing tonight. It's totally uncalled for. We should be here trying to surround this brother, protect this brother, give him the room and the space to develop, to grow, and support him. I'm in total solidarity with Ibrahim Traore in Burkina Faso. Give him the chance to grow. Support him. Now, I'm telling you right now, I do not support the Islamic stuff.
You got 20 seconds. I got to pass the mic.
Yeah, I do not support the Islamic stuff. I don't support the Christian, all these Judeo-Christian ideology. I support African people get back to our own authentic African ideology and thinking. We need to just develop science and technology and the best of African culture. We definitely don't need this far-right petty nonsense that is pushing by Brendan and crew. Thank you very much, Dinus.
All right. Go ahead, respond, Brandon. And pass the hell up.
No, I don't think it's a matter of right or left. American politics has nothing to do with this situation.
It's a joke.
People are ignorant to think that just because General Langley gave a report on what's going on in Burkina Faso, that somehow means he's some type of traitor or whatever. These same 100%.
People.
Hey, Dulani, don't interrupt him.
These people will criticize. These people will criticize Donald Trump and say they're criticizing him because he's a dictator or he's a wannabe dictator. 5 minutes later, they're celebrating an African dictator. So the reality is, this is just pure ignorance. Everything said is emotionalism. There's not a single person who could produce a shred of proof of anything that they're claiming that Ibrahim Traore has done. The only source they have is YouTube. But then there's also a bunch of YouTube channels criticizing Ibrahim Traore, talking about human rights violations that he's doing, because the YouTubes come off are based on what people are reading on Twitter. You can go on Twitter, you can see 100 criticism of Traore. Then you can see 100 praises of Traore. So if you're going by YouTube, I'm looking at a thing where somebody I just looked up a thing where somebody commented in the chat that some doctor criticized Traore and say he's not doing enough to fight against the terrorists, which I believe because the reports are saying the terrorists are gaining ground. So what Traore does is take the doctor. This is a doctor now. Y'all talking about hospitals. Woman was like,
medical doctor.
Let me finish, bro. You got a woman talking about we need more doctors in hospitals. So Traore, because you need more doctors in hospitals in Burkina, a doctor criticizes what he's doing against the terrorists. He's not doing enough. He takes that doctor and puts him on the front line with an AK-47 and says, well, now you can have a direct impact on it. Now, if you believe the good stuff on YouTube about Traore that we can't substantiate, you have to believe the bad stuff about Traore that we can't substantiate. And based on social media where y'all getting all y'all information, Traore
is suppressing political opposition. He's arrested political opponents. Some people even say he's did some genocide, some killing of people over there who are political opposition. You can't base all of your opinions on social media. You actually have to do some research and find legitimate media sources. And because Traore has silenced the media, we have no information. It's a media and it's a media black hole.
Hello.
It's a media black hole right now, and that's why I'm telling all you emotional people. Why don't you? I'm telling all these emotional people, you guys need to wait and see what's developing out of that country before you just start appropriating.
You got 20 seconds, Brandon.
Okay, 20 seconds. Look, Dinah's today. I don't know what today is. What's the date? May 2nd. May 2nd, I'm telling you, this is going to end bad. And I want all these people to remember that I said a lot of stuff is going to come out of that country that's going to be very disturbing. I promise you, because there's no reason to block out the media. The media ain't going to overthrow your government.
All right, guys. Whoa. It's not your turn. It's not your turn. Guys, hit the like button again. Please hit that like button. Also, make sure you share and make sure you subscribe. I got to pass it to Hello first. Go ahead, Hello.
Hi, Prince.
Hello.
This is my first time coming here. I found your platform by accident.
Did you subscribe?
I haven't. But,
okay, well,
I
you
may.
need to subscribe. You need to subscribe.
I may, my love. I may. Just give me time. I have to
What
decide.
do you mean you may?
If you deserve it, I will. I don't go by emotions. I use my brain. So
It's just hit the subscribe button.
I will do, but I need to say something. I would do it in my own time, depending on.
He's gonna do it, Dinah. Don't worry. He's gonna like it. Don't worry.
I mean, why I gotta fight? Why are you calling? I gotta fight for a prescription, Brandon. Am I being wrong, Brandon?
Don't push.
He needs to go ahead and smash that button. Just smash the button for the white man.
Calm down, guys. Yeah, calm down because we are one. I hate to see.
No, we not one because if we was one, you would hit that subscribe button.
Yeah. Hello, you gotta hit that. Hello, you gotta hit that subscription button. That
Show some respect, Brandon.
You gotta hit that. No. You need to hit that subscription button. How you gonna be calling and not subscribe?
Like, share, and subscribe.
But I thought you said we are one, so that means we
gotta remove her. Go ahead. Go
get her out of here.
I want to respond to Brandon, man. I gotta get him out of here, man. I can't. Can
I take Brandon on?
No. Let me pass to Kafunia. Then I'm gonna pass it to Gigi.
Yeah.
I want to take him on so bad.
Please can you just respect one voice, please?
Go ahead, Kafunia.
My whole thing is what the brothers are talking about, specifically Brandon. They think that Africa has been colonized for over 500 years, and we have been, you already know the story. But the thing of it is that what I don't understand is that I don't just get my information from social media, and the YouTubes that you talk about. Sometimes it's clickbait too. You understand? And sometimes most of the time it's clickbait and opposition to what something positive is happening. And I don't think that you should say, Brandon, specifically, that it's going to end bad. It's only going to end bad with people such as yourself. But the question is,
thank you.
Did they have an international worldwide march protest for Kagame? Was that ever done for him?
You mean
protest against him? Many.
Was there a protest
support,
encouraging him? Hooray, you've done a lot for the people. Bum, bum, bum. We're going to back you.
Never.
As far as I know.
There was a genocide against the Tutsi, but go ahead.
Was not a worldwide protest.
Man, the same people romanticize and they not going to protect him.
Say that again?
The same people over romanticizing Traore are not going to protect him. And when they whack him, y'all going to be the same ones crying.
Let Mama speak. Let Mama
let her speak. Go ahead. Let her speak.
In other words, Brandon, you prefer to see the continuation of vampires coming into Africa and stealing all of their minerals and gold and the cell phones and the computers that we're on. You want that to happen ongoing. You want that to be ongoing instead of seeing the liberation of our people. I already stated before, we have weak leaders like in Zimbabwe. They want to pay back the colonizers, the farmers. They want to pay the farmers back. They want to pay them billions of dollars. Why? So is reparations only for Europeans, or we don't get reparations for what we have done to build quote unquote America? I guess you don't believe that we built America too, Brandon, as Africans who were transported from the motherland. Some of us were here already, but you understand what I'm saying? So I'm standing again for Traore. I know it takes time for things to decolonize their minds. Okay? But as far as I know, the people love Traore. They love him, and that's why they are support. It's not about romanticizing. I don't want to see Africa go through another 500 years of fuckery. Excuse my language. I don't want to see that. And I don't care who it is.
So you must take security serious if you don't want to.
Oh, please.
Go ahead. Can y'all not interrupt her? You got 30 seconds, Ms.
You know, I'm just saying, read books like they came before Columbus. Read books like that. Chime into Brother Malcolm X. These are people who have fought and died for real liberation. How come nobody will come over to America and tell them how they should live? How are you going to go into somebody else's house and tell them what they should do in their own land? How are you going to do that, Rasta? How are you going to do that? You need to study more. And I have nothing against you, but please stop spreading false propaganda, okay? Because that's what you're doing. And I'm not only looking at social media for my information, okay? One love, my brother, and wake up and live, okay?
Can you share some of your sources so we could look at them as well?
Hold on.
Brandon.
Go ahead. No.
Brandon.
Can I?
Hold up, let me go.
Brandon, do you notice that?
One mic. One mic. You ain't talking over me. Go ahead, Gigi.
Finish.
Let her finish first. You let her finish first, and I'll go.
You got 15 seconds. I got to pass the mic. You got 15
okay. All I'm saying is, they talk about Bob Marley, but you got to see the vision that he was in. You can't look at, because he was half white and half African. You can't look at that. You have to look at the frequency and the energy, and it's going to be a change on Africa, whether you like it or not. I land my plane.
All right, go ahead, Gigi.
Yeah, like what I was saying. Just give Abraham some time. He's doing a lot. I still support the man. But I want to respond to Wildflower, if she's still on here. She made some a lot of these critics of Paul Kagame contradict themselves. She said that the elections are fake in Rwanda, that he gets 99% of the vote, so it's fake. But in Burkina, let me finish. But in Burkina Faso, let me finish. In Burkina Faso, she praises Ibrahim Traore for not having elections. So it's good that she don't have elections in Burkina Faso because she think they're illegitimate. But when there is elections in Paul Kagame, that's a bad thing. They're fake.
Elections. What's
let me finish.
Let's to get security. Thank you.
No, I haven't finished. When Paul Kagame has election, they're illegitimate. But when Ibrahim Traore doesn't have election, it's legitimate. It's a good reason for it. And again, if he gets, if Ibrahim Traore, let me finish. Let me finish.
Let him finish. It's okay.
If Ibrahim Traore gets 99% of the vote, will you think that's legitimate? If he hold election today and Ibrahim Traore gets 99% of the vote, would that be legitimate? Will you say, oh, it's a free and fair election? Wildflower.
If people vote for him,
Can I respond? Can I go for that?
Yes.
No,
Would it be
you, no, you
legitimate?
can't. It's wildfire.
But
Go
I'm
ahead.
telling you, in Rwanda, the opposition
Would it be
is trying
legitimate? No, would it
to.
be legitimate if Ibrahim Traore gets 99% of the
Skylar,
vote?
let
Would it
her
be
speak
legitimate?
Can I just
It's a,
speak
I'm
now?
a,
GG,
it's a,
let her finish. Go ahead, wildfire.
If Ibrahim holds the election, which he wanted to do, but he couldn't because people asked him to stay on. He wanted to step down, by the way, but now the country is not stable. There is so much instability because of all the jihadis who are being sponsored by we all know who they are. And then at the same time, you guys, during this crisis, the nation is in crisis, the same way as Ukraine is in crisis. They haven't had elections. He's just trying to stabilize the ship, for goodness sake. And you're like, no, have elections. I don't know what people are thinking of, as if these elections are going to be the be or end all. People want to eat. People want to be free from terrorism attack. Once he's got that secured, he's happy to leave. He doesn't want to be in this position. He gets a lower salary. Look at these African leaders that have private jets. When they get sick, they come to Europe for treatment. What kind of nonsense is that? In our hospitals, we have expired medicine. They have no shame. And these are the people who we voted in, what's it called, democratically, in charge for 50 years, like it's a family business. And you have elections. I don't know what people are thinking. I have no idea.
All right. Go ahead and respond, Gigi. You got 30 seconds. I got to pass the Nigerian.
okay,
first.
that's my. Again, I'm not even saying that's a bad. Let me finish real quick.
Me?
I'm not saying it's a bad thing. Like again, I support Ibrahim Traore. I support Kagame because he's good for his country. But there's criticism where if you have an election that's 99%, then it's illegitimate. Then you can't turn around and say, well, it's perfectly fine that Ibrahim Traore cannot have elections. It's not, elections are elections.
When the oppositions are not even allowed to speak up, you can't even criticize the leader.
And their opposition in Burkina Faso. And I know, there's not opposition in Burkina Faso. There's not people that's against Ibrahim Traore in Burkina Faso. So it's perfectly fine that they get shut out too. So if Ibrahim Traore shuts out opposition in Burkina Faso, that's fine. But if Paul Kagame do, that's not fine. See, you guys are just contradicting all the time.
He hasn't shut them out because there is no opposition. Let the country
yes, there is. Yes, there is.
The parties will come up. The parties will come up. You don't know.
Name an opposition politically.
Name an opposition party.
I got to pass the mic. Go ahead, Nigerian first. Nigerian
first. I normally disagree with Brandon a lot. On this particular issue, I am on Brandon's side 100%. Even if you guys want to call me coon or whatever you want to say, I will gladly accept that title. The guy, everything you are saying, just propaganda. Tomorrow they will say, oh, they want to kill him. Next tomorrow they want to kill him. Come on now. I've seen America exercise its power. If America want to take anybody out, it's very easy. They just send the MQ-9 drone. They drop one in his compound. It is over. They don't need to plan all these things. There's nothing to plan. Just one order is over. So let's calm down. It's all propaganda. Nothing. For example, I'm waiting because I'm not impressed in whatever he's doing. It's just everything is mediocre. So there's nothing to be. A governor do more.
Taking back gold mines is mediocre. Has Nigeria nationalized
don't interrupt.
It's mediocre. Yes, it's mediocre. What I heard is that he's now with Russia. Russia decided to give them 15%. Then France was giving them 10% before. So what's the difference? 15 and 10. What's the difference? It is the same. That contract would have naturally they would have just renegotiated. For example, Botswana just renegotiated their deal with De Beers. I think now it's like 50-50. They didn't shot a gun. They didn't try to remove anyone from power and all that. They just do it like educated people, the leaders there. These guys, what they did in those regions, just power grab. They didn't come to save any Africa or to fight against the Westerner. No. They didn't come to do that. They came to steal, maim people. If you look at, for example, if you look at all the YouTubers that go that place, if you study people, when those YouTubers talk to some of the citizens, look at the way they behave because they are scared. They can barely say anything because they don't want to offend the so-called
not true.
Yes, it is true.
Do you think you can go to Rwanda and say everyone about the government?
Hold on, I have lived in the military era before. Yes, in Nigeria. I know how those guys behave. If you see anything that's against, what they believe, they take you out. You understand
This
me?
is
Well, that's
speculation
happening in all
and
democratic
rhetoric.
governments in Africa. I don't know.
No. That's not the case.
He's
I go
speculating,
online.
man.
That is the case. That is the
I go
case. That means
online
they don't
every
give
Hey,
the right
guy,
information.
don't interrupt him. Nigerian person,
I
you got
go
45 more
online.
seconds.
I go online every day and insult our president. I'm still alive. You understand me? I do that every day. I rather, be able to curse my leader and insult him than be scared of ragtag military officers. You understand me? So let's not hype all these people. If you think the guy is doing a great work, pack your bag and move there. Leave the United States where the Mugzungu spend their sweat and time to build. Leave there and go to the Burkina Faso.
What
Go and
use
have
Don't
African
never
resources
do
to
that.
build?
All right.
Dinus, can I address that, Dinus?
Hey, can we address the article?
I got it. I got it. Let me read this. I'm gonna pass it to Call, and I'll pass it to you, Coach Casanova. Let me read this real quick. 3 detained Burkina Faso journalists appear in videos wearing military uniforms. Dakar, April 4th, 2025. The Committee to Protect Journalists calls on authorities in Burkina Faso to release recently detained journalists Guazuma Sanogo, Bokari Owaba, and Luke Pagbel Guam after they appeared in military uniform in videos posted on social media. The video showing detained Burkinabe journalists Guazuma Sanogo, Bokari Owaba, and Luke Pagbel Guam wearing military uniforms reinforces fears about the fate of the 7 journalists. Hey, somebody needs to mute themselves. You got a background noise. 7 journalists kidnapped since June 2024, 6 of whom are now certain to have forcibly conscripted into the army, said Musa Ngom. CPJ's Francophone Africa representative. Authorities must stop their efforts to censor the press by forcing journalists into military service and allow them to return to their homes and work. In the 2-minute video published by several Burkinabe Facebook accounts since at least Wednesday, the Waba Sanogo and Pagbe Gulam appear in military uniform in an undisclosed location. Armed men, some in Burkinabe army uniform, stand behind them. A representative of the Association of Burkinabe Journalists, AJB, who requested anonymity for safety reasons, confirmed to CPJ that they are the 3 journalists who have been missing since they were arrested March 24th in the capital of Ouagadougou. Okay. So Brandon, what's this about, Brandon? Then I'm gonna pass it on Call.
So basically, it's the same story about the doctor, right? The CPJ, they protect journalists all over. They criticize in every country on the planet that abuses or imprisons journalists. So what Traore is doing is, what Traore is doing, it's not an NGO. What Traore is doing.
Is it a Western organization?
Is doing,
is it a Western organization?
we know this hurts your feelings, but you gotta let me speak. We know this hurts your feelings, but you gotta let me speak. Because what I know is you don't give a damn about what's those people being abused over there. What Traore is doing is if you criticize his government or seek to report unbiased facts about his government, he is putting you on the front line of the military. Now, Dinus, we are all some Bible-thumping Christians. What did David do to Uriah when he slept with Uriah's wife and got her pregnant? He put him on the front line of the military because that's where you have a high likelihood of getting killed. Traore is putting all political opposition and journalists, because there's 7 of them actually, but only 3 have been found, either on the front line or he's disappearing them. You guys did not know that. Let me finish. You did not know that. You don't care because you would rather live a fantasy and believe a fantasy about Traore when we all know what dictators do. This is not. Hold on, bro. Hold on.
You guys gotta stop interrupting them. Go ahead. You got 30
Listen, man.
30 seconds.
Listen, man. We are not stupid. We've lived through this. We've seen this a million times. When you start imprisoning journalists, forcing them to conscript into the military, right? That's so somebody can keep an eye on them so they can't report and do their job. You got something to hide. Why are you locking up your own journalists, your own countrymen, your own citizens? The last government wasn't doing that. This guy is a dictator. And I'm telling you, once people get in there, you're probably going to find mass graves. This guy is not slick. I think he used the Islamists as a scapegoat. I believe those hit squads are his own troops, and those are the people eliminating those people by the hundreds. And he's blaming it on Islamists. Because why is that the only? He allows them to report on that. Wait a minute. He allowed Dinus. Listen to this real quick, 10 seconds. He will allow reports of Islamists killing people to get out the country. That's all he's letting out the country, but he won't allow reports of anything else. All positive and any negative is blamed on Islamists. Bro is a dictator, and bro is over there committing murder. I'm telling you, I could see it already.
That's your opinion.
All right, I gotta pass the call.
Let me answer that.
I gotta pass the call. Go ahead.
Let me answer. I will answer Brandon first. Brandon, do you see that? Yes, I'm not totally gonna refute what you just said about journalists in Burkina Faso. But this is what you need to understand when somebody start to get cozy or to be advised by people like Paul Kagame. I will advise you to read the book. You see, there is even a book which was written about Paul Kagame and the disappearance of journalists. Bad news, last journalist in a dictatorship. Read that book. You're going to hear hundreds of journalists that have disappeared in Rwanda. And I'm not saying that, in Burkina Faso.
He's not going to agree to that.
Hey, let him finish.
It's not happening.
I agree 100%.
Yeah, listen now. You see, in Burkina Faso, it's a revolution, and to build a country is not that easy. Of course, we know that Burkina Faso, comparing it to Rwanda, when the Western propped up Paul Kagame and took power, they were not criticized the way how Burkina Faso started being criticized, attacked and stuff. So there will be Western NGO that is going to fund some journalists and in opposition, so as to create chaos. That's the thing.
Yeah, that's happening a lot in Africa as well.
Yes.
And let me just say that.
And another thing, you were asking about accomplishment. Do you know that in Burkina Faso is the first country in Africa to have a manufacturer of electrical car right now? Probably you don't know about that because you don't want to read good news, but there is good news.
That's not true.
I heard about that.
Brandon, it's not.
It's true. So those are accomplishments. Now, when you come to Paul Kagame,
those are claims.
Paul
Those
Kagame,
are claims.
Listen.
He can't even provide
Brandon doesn't want to find that issue.
When you compare like the way how Traore came to power, it was not a bloody coup. But Paul Kagame, he had to shoot 2 African presidents to get power, and you know that he indirectly unalived 2 other African presidents, and you know how millions. Listen, in Rwanda, it was not necessary for the genocide, but if you give, I would like to quote that even that genocide, it was a stepping stone. Kagame actually, there was a way to stop that genocide going on in Rwanda, but Kagame's group, under the direction of Kagame, they stopped them with the Bill Clinton administration. They stopped people who wanted to intervene in Rwanda. Why? Because they just wanted to gain power. And I'll give you references. There is like 20 of books that you can read about this Rwanda. Let me just read.
I gotta pass the mic. I gotta go ahead, Castro.
You are giving me shorter time, Dinus, man.
I gotta pass. Go ahead, Castro.
You ain't said nothing.
Castro. Okay, Castro. Okay. Okay.
Can you give me 30 seconds, Dinus?
Well, I gotta pass the Darth. I pass it back to you. Go ahead, Darth.
Okay, simple. I just want to say something. I could leave it. I could go and list down the list of achievements that he's made, but I want to be more personal. Brandon, I think you're a questionable character. I think you're a grifter. Since from the days you associate with Lou Major, I don't trust you. I don't particularly like you. I think you're a grifter, but it's not about hold on. It's not about even liking. I think you're a very questionable individual. UFC, I think you're disdainful, arrogant, snobbish, but you think you're smart, but you're actually stupid. You understand? You think you're smart, but you're stupid. Pedro validates your stupidity because you're both stupid. You see what I'm saying? But anyway,
you live in a white smart country. Live there and go to Burkina Faso. Pack your bag and leave.
Let me tell you, hundreds of people are dying. Hundreds of people are dying every day in Nigeria. talk about your shit country. Life means nothing in
I
Nigeria.
know, okay. I
Life,
hear you.
life,
But
look,
pack
look, look.
your bag and
Life
go
means
to
nothing in
Burkina
Nigeria.
Faso. Pack
Life
your bag
means
and go to
nothing.
Burkina Faso. Leave the West.
Nigeria,
Listen,
we are
listen.
not talking about leaving.
Life means nothing in
Pack your
Nigeria.
bag and go to
That's how sad
Burkina
it is.
Faso now.
That's
I
how
will
sad
take
it
you
is.
serious.
Life means nothing in Nigeria. Hundreds
Pack
of
your
people
bag
die
and go
every
to
fucking
Burkina
day.
Faso.
Your
That
bitches, your wives
One
are in
voice,
Dubai
one
getting their
voice.
mouths
Hey,
shut down.
one mic. Go ahead, Dar.
This man
Your
called
wives,
somebody white the
especially
B
your
word.
wives, especially the Yorubas, are in Dubai getting their mouths shit done by Arabs as well. And you have the gut to say shit about this and all that. These
pack
people
your
are
bag
achieving
and
major
go
gains.
there, and I will take you serious.
Listen. Your life is as useless as you in Nigeria.
Pack
Your
your
life
bag
means
and go.
nothing. You stop this arrogant fucking
Your
shit.
mates were the one that built the
Dinus,
West.
can he make a
You
point?
shut
He
the
just
fuck up.
back.
You think you're
Hey,
intelligent.
Go back to your
Brandon,
Texas
you, I
studio.
think, Brandon, as for you, I think you're
Dart,
Go
questionable,
back
but
to
Dart,
your
you got
highly
Dart, you
questionable.
got 30 seconds, Dart. You got 30
I
seconds.
just want
That's
to
all I got to
Brandon.
say. That's all I got to say. I just
Oh,
have to get that out. That's all I have to say.
okay, all right. Thank you.
I'd like to fact check Brandon, please.
Go ahead.
So that article that you read, that story was originally reported by an organization called Reporters Without Borders. In French, it's RSF, and it absolutely is an NGO. And we all know that the NGO serves to do nothing but promote propaganda that serves in the interest of the West. That story is not new. Brandon's saying, "Oh, no one knew about that." No, we all know about it, but none of us believed it because we know where it came from. It's not a new story. It didn't happen yesterday.
Can I please respond to that?
Thank you.
Go ahead, Brandon. Go respond.
That was reported by Reporters Without Borders, but that was top win by CPJ, and they verified with the Journalist Bureau in Burkina Faso to see if it was true, and the head of it confirmed that it was true, and they were able to find those three guys through Facebook and confirm their identities. And there's actually 4 other guys who are still missing. And remember, we got the report about the doctor as well. Like this is happening. This has happened. So what you're gonna do is say those people's human rights being violated is okay because me loving Traore and fantasizing about him makes me feel good. You're a hypocrite,
No,
woman.
there's
Because
a
if
difference.
someone was doing that to you, you would want somebody to say something about it.
Those reporters, the opposite side of that story, I already looked at this story and there's the opposite side of it. And the opposite side of it is that those reporters who were working for Reporters Without Borders were promoting propaganda and saying that there was no jihadists that were being fighting and yada, yada, yada. And Traore said to them, okay, if you don't believe there's an actual war going on, if you don't believe that I need to be here fighting this, then why don't you pick up a gun and go yourself and see? And I 100% believe in that strategy.
Woman, do you realize that this is literally the strategy of every dictator in history? If someone opposes or reports information that they don't want to be revealed or exposed, they find a way to silence that person. You're gonna listen. If Traore is actually benevolent and no one should be forced into military conscription, woman. Even if you agree with that is called a human rights violation. Do you know what human rights are? That I think is actually a violation of the Geneva Convention. So you agree with stealing people's rights as long as this goes along with what you think is right or what you think is correct. Lady, you are evil. You're evil.
That's what I said.
You're evil at your core.
That's not what I said, and that's not what I believe. That's not what I said.
Can I respond?
Those reporters were not missing. They were not forced into military service. They were simply told, why don't you go on the front lines and see what's going on? They were not missing.
Why would a journalist want to join the military, fool, and shoot a gun?
It's not about joining the military. They
report what's going on. They weren't supposed to join. They were supposed to go and look and observe.
They should be reporting from the ground.
Hey, let me pass it to the elder. Go ahead, Miss Kufunya.
Okay. Well, I don't know what you mean by elder, but I like the question. I would like people to answer this question. Why was Sankara assassinated?
Because his best friend killed him and he was black.
Because he wanted the
He stood up to
freedom.
Western
Because he wanted
imperialism.
emancipation and the freedom of his people.
Right, exactly. And President Traore, my understanding again is that the people of his country love him. And Brendan, you talk about dictatorship. So what is Donald Trump doing? And that's supposed to be wait. And that's supposed to be a democracy.
What is Donald Trump doing that's dictator that will be resemble a dictatorship?
Well, he's dismissing, he's sending immigrants out of the country.
Yeah,
Not following court orders, ignoring judge decisions.
Hey, wait a minute, let Diamond speak.
Yeah, you have the right to do that. Kick them out. If
you're illegal.
Due process.
Absolutely. For illegal immigrants selling dope, get up out of here. Hell no. Kick them out.
Sex trafficking women, raping women. See, this Dynast, I'm telling you, behind every fake revolutionary is a Democrat hiding. It's a hiding liberal. Dynast, do you see what I see? These people.
Yeah, I mean, if you are a legal immigrant and if you're committing crimes, F due process, get your ass up out of here.
I agree, Dynast, but
Some people are just genuine U.S. citizens that have been thrown out.
What U.S. citizens?
He's doing
that's a lie.
What U.S. citizens?
What do you mean with U.S. citizens?
They're just lying.
Check it out. It's in the news. A U.S. citizen was sent to that jail. Is it El Salvador somewhere? And then someone protesting against Palestinians. They've been getting deported. I don't know. You guys keeping up what's going on?
Wildfire, you're lying. No U.S. citizens have been sent to any prison in El Salvador.
Well, you need to watch the news.
No, you need to do your research. Dynast, this is what I'm telling you. The more you guys try to, Dynast, every time this happens, they tell me I'm a fool, I'm dumb, I don't know what it is. Dynast, do you believe, Dynast, that if these people don't even know shit about what's going on in their own country, that they are truly doing research about that country? Of course they're not. They're watching YouTube, they're believing everything they hear, and then they're running on this channel acting like they know what they're talking about.
You don't know what's happening in America.
Yes, I do. Yes, I do.
There was a judge that was picked up recently. Just look it up. I don't know. You guys
watching the news. The immigrant escape capture.
How do you know that? People need due process because innocent people are getting taken.
Wildfire. There was an illegal immigrant. There was an illegal criminal, who was arrested for beating up his wife, and he was supposed to be detained by ICE from court. The judge snuck him out of a side door that is only used for judges. She helped him evade arrest. That is called obstruction of justice. That is why she was arrested. You are a communist and you are a liar. That is why you up here lying about what's going on in Burkina Faso.
You're getting emotional. Look at you.
You're getting emotional.
Can I respond?
You're emotional.
Go ahead.
Why was Sankara assassinated?
I'll tell you why. I'll tell you why. Because of black sellout culture. That's
like Brandon. Someone like Brandon.
Right.
Someone like Brandon. Someone like UFC.
And
the people that fucking sell out. These are the exact characters.
I am the only person doing research up here. I haven't even been
Brandon, remember your association with
you know more about what's going on with Africa than you guys. You guys are a bunch of Democrats.
We got to pack
for yourself.
The elder.
You don't know nothing about what the panel know.
Go ahead, Kafunya.
Okay. What I'm saying is, and Brendan, don't interrupt me, okay? Please don't do that. You know, everybody has their point of view. And those who have studied the books of Malcolm X before they came, before Columbus, how Europe underdeveloped Africa, and many, many, many more books that came before Columbus, know the historical aspects of a colonizer. And they know they have black people with white minds. We know this. So my understanding of the history of Sankara is that he wanted freedom and liberation. He got tired of these colonizers raping Africa. Don't you get it, Brendan? Whether it's Ibrahim Traore or anybody else, it's not gonna continue the way it was for 500 years. It's not going to be that, because
Brandon gets it. Brandon gets it. Brandon is for the other side. He gets it. He votes for the other side.
Excuse me.
He does not. He doesn't get it.
Excuse me, Darth. Excuse me. There is a spiritual frequency shift that's happening that has nothing to do with Christianity. It has nothing to do with Islam. It has nothing to do with any sort of religion. It has to do with change, right? And whether we agree with how Traore is doing, he's doing something. He's not selling out his people. I don't believe that. His country is debt free, okay? Debt free. You got Niger backing him, and I believe Mali. And Niger, the reason why they stood up against France is because France was taking their uranium and for little or nothing, okay, and charging 1,000 times more. Let me tell you, Africa is not going to build European countries anymore. You can believe it or not. And I land my plane, and please wake up and live and stop going with the false propaganda. Use your mind, strengthen your mind. We're living in serious times. You got to do that, brother. Come on now.
Also, if I can add on that,
Hold on. Brandon, you got 30 seconds because she directed to you. I'm gonna pass the call. Go ahead, Brandon.
Listen, man, you're not doing research. You are another Trump deranged liberal who is on social media believing everything that you hear on social media while doing no research. All you had to do was Google. Listen, hey, you told me don't interrupt you, doggone it. You told me don't interrupt you. Now, why are you doing it? You're a hypocrite. Listen, man, all you got to do, I don't care about Ibrahim Traore or one way or another one. All you got to do is when you hear something positive, go to Google and say, is there any reports of human rights abuses out of Burkina Faso? And then you go do your research. You guys hear something good, you run with it. You don't even consider that anything else could be going on. You got Wildflower over here telling us that human rights violations are okay and trying to romanticize them because she doesn't want to believe that Traore is who he is. He's a damn dictator who overthrew his government, and I believe he's in cahoots with the jihadist militias. I believe he's in cahoots with them.
That's your opinion. That's your opinion. It doesn't make it factual. It doesn't make it factual, my brother. It doesn't make it factual.
All right. I want to
Go ahead, call.
I want to respond with quoting this researcher in the book Holocaust in Congo. The main idea was to install a leader at the helm of Rwanda who would be capable of invading the Congo Zaire and seize its resources for the benefits of Western mining companies and Anglo-American private interests supported by certain Western leaders like Clinton. And I close the quote. So you need to understand, this is page 32, book in praise of, Holocaust in Congo. What you have to understand when you are trying to compare a leader like Ibrahim Traore and Kagame, first of all, there are intellectuals now who are thinking that we, as African, we don't have to follow the path of European because we have different cultures. So even on our government, there is, when Western and European start, calling any leader dictator. Most of the time, it's just a way of trying to take him out. But it's not factual that is the guy is a dictator. How long Traore has been in power? Do you hear them really calling Kagame dictator? No, he's their darling, the darling of the West. So that's Alain Foucault, if you wanna contribute to the ideas, because they're intellectual, many African intellectuals who are trying to contribute to how African we should conduct our affairs, and not only this democracy, which is actually the way of controlling us. Now, to respond to Scala, who spoke about, when it's come to Rwanda, there is this intellectual this terrorism and intimidation which has been going around. Even in many books, like they killed how the U.S. killed democracy in Rwanda and Congo. He wrote about this. If there is any researcher who find out or who publish stuff which goes against what these lobbies and multinational they want the world to know about Paul Kagame, they will always come after him, starting intimidating him, starting throwing these words like, oh, they support the FDLR, or they are, I don't know, genociders. You spoke about Eric Prince. Do you know that Eric Prince actually is somehow friendly to Kagame and is among those, who have been supporting him? Yes, I understand that that other agent, both Kagame and Tshisekedi, they are the agent of the West. But you need to understand the roles. Tshisekedi is there to weaken Congolese, and Kagame is there to do their true biting, like unalive as many as people that they can, so as to go and rip that country with mineral. So a person like that, you cannot compare him to Ibrahim Traore. Now, the sister also who spoke, I don't know, about Botswana with the guy, the deal which Botswana went into with the beers. You have to understand, like, Burkina Faso is not stable yet. So, and because they know that they are being attacked by the West, they need, what can I say, like the supporter, people who can back them up, because they don't manufacture guns, they don't manufacture ammunition. So they need this other country, because now we are in multipolar, geopolitics seized world. It's not like the unipolar one, like the guy who spoke that it's easy now for US, if they want to take him out, it's easy with a drone, they can go in. No, this is not 2010 or 2000 when they took out Gaddafi. This is 2025. Even themselves, they know that there is other powers who will be there to support, to back up the brother. So you can't compare Traore with all those other, BS that you are trying to bring up. So I will land my suggestion there.
Can I come in, Dynasty?
Hey, let's pass the Wildflower. Go ahead, Wildflower.
Yeah, thank you. I wanted to address the idea that Western sources of information is the gospel on what's going on in Africa. What has been shown that we have NGOs paying African journalists on the ground. This was an example in Nigeria. I think the guy is called Daniel Husseini. He's a really, really good Nigerian journalist, independent journalist. There's people, Western NGOs, trying to pay African journalists to write negative reports about what's going on in Africa. This has been proven. And for people to sit there and be like, oh, these Western sources are saying this is happening, human rights, check your sources. Yeah. It has been shown over and over again that Western media is another tool of war. Do you understand? They use the BBC, the CNN to paint anybody demonic. Okay? And they can fake up these NGOs. Oh my God, you're doing human rights. The NGOs are also on it as well. Everyone is trying to prop up white imperialism. Don't get fooled. Do not get fooled because an article is in the Guardian or it's in the FT Times. Don't be fooled. Everybody is on team white supremacy. And when you learn that, you're not going to be silly believing everything that comes out of their media. Okay? Okay? It is NGOs faking to care about Africans, paying journalists in Africa to write negative reports about what's happening with the guy that was trying to do oil in Nigeria. Huh? And these African journalists are coming out and saying, this is what they're trying to do.
That's true. That's true about that goat there. You're right. That's true.
And for somebody to sit there and quote what Western journalists or what these NGOs is saying as the gospel, you need to check yourself. I'm sorry.
One thing I can say for those people who don't understand Brandon is what you call a YouTube grifter and a staunch American nationalist, which there's nothing wrong to be proud to be American. There's nothing wrong with it. He's very intelligent. He's not stupid. He's just a questionable type of individual. You see what I'm saying? So Brandon, you don't react or you don't overreact with him. You just now he has a position and he stays by that position. So don't react to him. But I just want to let you know the trend is going this way. And for those who are against, well, suck it and all that stuff. The trend is going this way anyway. And UFC, you should worry about Nigeria, where tens and droves of hundreds of people die every other week. You should worry about that instead of what Burkina Faso is doing to secure its country. Thousands of people. Life means nothing in Nigeria. Life means nothing in Nigeria.
Worry about your country. You
So
guys
that-
don't
so
know
that-
Your people. Hold on. I want to address another thing. I want to address another thing. I want to address it.
Brian, it wasn't even your turn.
Hold on.
Let Dar tip is finished. Go ahead. You got 30.
Okay. One more thing. I want to address the thing. So, can you Nigerians please stop exporting human sacrifice and human kidnappers, human organ donation, the kidnappers in West Africa? Because you Nigerians are exporting your human trafficking people, kidnapping all other kids from everywhere and taking them to do your babalawos for sacrifice. Now, stop doing that.
That makes
We are picking that up.
right, then good.
We are picking that up. I think what does Nigeria have to export to the rest of West Africa?
Insult Nigeria or you
Nigeria has nothing. I try and I say
your 30 seconds is up, bro. Your 30 seconds is up.
We got
Hold on, Diners. Hold on. One more thing.
We got to pass the mic. Nigeria first. You got 30 seconds to respond. I'll pass the
This is the thing. He's just in his feelings because I'm not towing the line he's willing to tow. I am not a stupid person. You understand me? I observe things.
You are stupid.
What I see is just hype. I'm not going to join a hype train. You understand me? I need to see something. For example, all the things he's doing. For example, local government in my country are doing it, so I should be clapping for that. Come on now. I shouldn't clap for
you didn't
don't interrupt him. Go. You got 30 seconds, Nigerian first.
So I stand by my words. If you disagree with me, fine. You have the right to say whatever you want. I never challenge you. But this is the thing. You guys want to force your own belief, to other people. I didn't tell you to agree with me.
All right,
so that's from the diners. Yeah.
I'm just gonna say.
Brandon, go
ahead.
Go ahead, Brandon. Brandon, you got a minute.
So this is what we did. First, we accused the CPJ of being an NGO, which is not. We've already established that. Her words were nice and clever and tricky, but if you listen to what was going on, she's still missing the point. You're comparing journalists being paid by NGOs to make up false reports about Dangote, which that was happening. But the place where I'm going to tell you this is different. For one, Nigeria has a democratically elected president. Nigeria has not been taken over by a military.
Hey, we gotta chill out. So when you interrupt, his time starts over. You got a minute, Brandon. Go ahead.
Listen, Nigeria has a democratically elected president. It has not been taken over by a military coup. That is not the same when it comes to Burkina Faso. There is really no need for an NGO to try to produce negative reports about the president of Burkina Faso, because the fact that he overthrew the government is all the negative press you need for the West to start looking at bro funny and thinking about taking bro out. So when I'm looking at these journalists who are in prison, or who are in prison because they can't find 4 of them. We found 3 of them, but they can't find 4 more. Why is this man not allowing other countries to come in to check on these people to see if he's actually doing human rights violations? This man is hiding something. That is the only time you need to silence the press. If you are the government, like Donald Trump, Donald Trump received more negative press than anybody in history. Did Donald Trump ban the media? Did he shut down CNN and MSNBC? No. He just said, look, I'm just going to go do interviews. I'm going to encourage the other. Listen, man.
All right,
can my time start over now?
You got a minute, Brandon. You got a minute.
Yep, let's go. I like that rule. Okay. When you are getting negative press, that is propaganda. The best way to defeat that is by allowing more media. So there's other verifiable media sources that can report the opposite story or the true story. That's what we do in America. forcing journalists, disappearing journalists, because there's 4 still missing, forcing journalists to go to the front lines and hold guns, right, is not effective leadership. All it does is cast more doubt on your legitimacy. You are literally trying to make it
Nigeria is
seem
a
like
shithole.
she is literally, she is,
man. Y'all just,
yeah, my minute starts over. My minute starts over. Look, hey,
stop
what she is doing is trying to make you, she's trying to play us like we stupid, Dinus. Oh, he told them they can go see for themselves, so they willingly picked up AKs and went to the front lines to get shot by terrorists. This is what I'm telling you. Listen, disingenuous, corrupt leaders are supported by disingenuous and corrupt people. This woman is disingenuous and corrupt. That's why I know that they are all Democrats. They revealed themselves. So anybody who votes Democrat in America, you know they are willing to lie and they're willing to defend any type of wickedness known to man because they are morally bankrupt. You guys supporting Ibrahim Traore only makes me know now that he is evil like I thought, because only evil supports evil. And you guys supported Kamala Harris. That tells me for sure you're evil. Ibrahim Traore is a dictator. He's exactly who we thought he was. He will never hold a democratic election, and he will always use security as the excuse. I said it once. I'll say it again.
I gotta
this
pass
man is in cahoots with the terrorists.
I gotta pass it, Brandon. Go ahead, Mika. I'm gonna pass it to Mika. Go ahead, Mika.
I don't know why Americans think that democracy is a solution for Africa, because democracy hasn't produced any single stable economy in Africa. And also, Burkina Faso banned French media. They didn't ban all media. So a lot of my news sources that I'm reading from, I'm getting from African media outlets. The West hasn't been stopped from reporting on this. Like recently, we've had revolutions all over Africa concerning General Langley's reports. And BBC and CNN, none of these so-called democratic media have picked up on that story. But they are happy to talk about how Africans live on $2 a day, because clearly they are ideologically driven. In the US, I can't access RT News, which is Russia television news, because that news agency is banned in the US. They were about to ban TikTok as well. So this illusion about democracy that it produces results is really for the uneducated. Anyway, I was here to talk about the reforms that Traore has made. First, he's increased the GDP of Burkina Faso from 18.8 billion to 22.1 billion, and he's only been in office for like 2 years now. The reason that General Langley went to speak about him was because he's making military reforms and enhancements, using his gold to boost his military. Apparently, the general has a problem with that. Now, that's an achievement. If you look at the situation in Congo, the security situation, they can't defend themselves. They have to bring in foreign contractors to defend them. Now, these terror groups in the Sahel are actually funded by France. France is arming those groups. Last time they even dumped nuclear waste in the Sahara. Also, Burkina has paid off their local debt, and they've reduced their country dependency. He's made reforms to the public sector. He's reduced the salaries of government and parliament officials. He's increased the salaries of the civil servants. Now, if you live in Africa, you know how it is to do a job for 30 years and never have a salary increase, which is why young professionals leave Africa and pursue their dreams elsewhere. Who's going to work for 30 years and you've never gotten a salary increase? He's made reforms to that. He's rejected international loans from the IMF and the World Bank. These two bodies are keeping Africa in slavery, because our governments can't invest in public services for us, because they have to abide by their fiscal policies, whatever it is. He's made reforms to agriculture. Obviously, you know about the manufacturing and the tomato plants. I'm not going to repeat on that. He's doing renovations to healthcare, and also he's built a gold refinery. Again, if Africa is going to get out of poverty cycle, we need to industrialize. That means we need to bring back manufacturing, which is what our early reformers, liberators were pursuing. But then the IMF came and shut down manufacturing across Africa. So all of us are exporting raw materials. We're not producing gold equipment. We're not producing copper equipment. Like Zambia is the second most highest copper reserves on earth. We have the highest emeralds reserves on earth, but we're giving out these raw materials and commodities. So him having a gold refinery is like Dangote having an oil refinery. They fought Dangote with propaganda. now they're fighting him with propaganda, because ultimately the West doesn't want Africa to industrialize, because that's what will make us rich. That's it. I wanted to say.
All right, go ahead, say James. Go ahead, say James.
Hi, Dennis. Thanks for having me, and salute to the chat, and salute to everybody on the panel. Can you hear me properly?
Yes.
Yes, I have been listening to you for the past 90 minutes, and I'm hearing about people talking about they did their research on Burkina Faso, and they're throwing all kinds of information and providing false information about the country. That's what Dot, you did a pretty good job. I don't know if you're still on the panel, Dot. You did a big good job about depicting an individual on this panel. Right? He's a grifter. He doesn't know what he's talking about. He picks the information that he lacks and throw it out there and see if he can fit. But if you're a smart person, you don't have to listen to that guy. To my understanding, sometimes YouTube channels are for profit. So if you want to be bombastic about the information that you want to provide to your audience, you can go ahead and do that. No problem. It's America. You know, you do what you got to do. But when it come to the proper information about a country, you got to do a little bit more research. Don't be lazy. Don't be eating while you typing on Google. Google is not going to provide you a lot of information that you might need to make a decision about something. Trust me, you won't. Coming back to this three, I saw three journalists that you guys were showing here talking about if Traore arrested them and they disappeared. No one disappeared in Burkina Faso. No one. If you know something, when it came to power, there is something in the constitution they call general mobilization, meaning the president has the right to pick anybody that he think may be useful for something. Those people that he took, if you have a military who's listening to me, I want you to give him the link so he can come up here and tell me how long does it take to train a soldier and prepare him for war. Do you think Ibrahim Traore is going to grab these people within a few 2 weeks and train them and tell them go fight jihadists? This is what we're doing in Burkina Faso. Are you telling me this is what we're doing? All the people he took, they made statement. They took them to the police station. They checked their phone, they checked computer. These people are in cahoots with the West trying to overthrow his regime. We have the evidence. Regardless of all of that, the guy said, you know what? I'm going to just take you to the battlefield and have you take a look at it. You have to witness what our soldiers are doing, and you can come back to report. And he's making sure these people don't get touched. So there is nobody missing in Burkina Faso. Don't believe that lie. All the former minister, the former president, he is still in Burkina Faso, breathing. The only one that left, he left on his own decision. Traore had a how you call it? He had a press conference. They asked him about the former president. He said he made his own decision to leave the country. He has nothing to do with that. Trust me. When you guys are listening to this guy, man, these people are delusional. Traore himself, he said he doesn't even trust the prison system as it is set up in Africa. He had a project to bring all these people in jail who have committed petty crime, all sort of those people who are sitting there waiting for judgment. He told them he doesn't like it because we need the manpower. If we can get all these people out of prison so they can help build the country. This is what Traore is doing. He doesn't want no one who doesn't deserve to be in prison to be in prison. So all these people who got arrested talking about they are journalists, trust me, in Burkina Faso, they are wearing many hats. During the day, they're journalists. During the night, they're plotting coups. And the next day, they're in cahoots with the front. That's what they do. They don't have only one title. You understand? So I want someone who said he did research. Give me the name of any media that Ibrahim Traore closed in my country. Give me one. Give me one media that was... No, hold on. Give me one media. Give me the name of that media that Traore closed right now. Drop the link. Give me the name. Second of all, give me the name of any media that was on the air when Traore came and they shut down. Give me those names. Thank you.
All right, let me pass it to Hello, then I'll give Brandon time to respond. Go ahead, Hello, unmute yourself.
All right, I have subscribed finally.
Thank you. Go ahead.
All right. So, my question goes to Defiant Brandon. Have you ever been to Africa?
No.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
He's trolling.
Only on YouTube.
He's
Have
trolling.
you ever? No, jokes apart. Have you ever been to Africa?
No.
Brandon, stop trolling, Brandon. Come on, for real.
A couple times.
A couple of times. And how long did you stay in Africa for? This is no joke. Now I'm not trolling.
3 days. 3 days and then 6 days.
What?
Prince, is
Yeah,
that true?
Brandon, stop trolling. Brandon, stop trolling. Come on, Brandon.
Brandon, stop trolling.
He's
People
been to
are
Africa. He's
dying.
go to
You need to
Kenya.
be.
He's been to, go ahead, Brandon.
So
Yeah, I've been to Africa.
How long have you been in Africa?
Several months.
Several months. And you went to the regions where there are insecurities in
Hell
Africa?
no. Why would I go there?
So
How
your
can you talk
your
about it?
answers will be used to judge this conversation and to the listeners. So let them be the judge. So my first question to you is that, first of all, before I start, I don't think anyone is perfect, but every country deserves a very supportive, positive leader. Ibrahim can never be a perfect leader. I do not know him one for one, but I wish the best for Africa as a continent. As an African myself, I am an African and I know what it means to be an African. And I know the story and history of Africa. So my first question to you as Black American who visited Africa and stayed some months, regardless, is how did insecurity get into any part of Africa in the first place, particularly the Sahel region? When answering, please consider Libya destabilization around the Sahel. That is question number one. Number
Go ahead.
two. Okay, I'll let him answer.
Go ahead, Brandon.
Okay, so there were these Arabs, right? They invaded Africa. Well, they were robbing African trade routes, right? And the Africans were desperate to stop them from doing that. So the Arabs tell the Africans, hey, if you become Muslim, we won't rob you because it is against the law of Islam for a Muslim to rob another Muslim. So the Africans converted over to Islam, and the Islamists said, hey, by the way, you got any good slaves we could use over in our country? And the Africans said, well, if you're my Arab brother, my Islamic brother, I'm willing to sell you slaves. So they started the Arab slave trade. Then the white man came and he was like, hey, we looking for some slaves. The Africans was like, yo, we got slaves, bro. We'll actually go in the interior of Africa and hunt them for you. So they got the slaves, sold them to the white man. Years later, these countries that were colonized willingly, they then fought for independence. They got their independence. So then they were able to make decisions for themselves. But there was this thing called tribalism, which meant that when there's an election, the best guy didn't get elected. The guy who was the member of the biggest tribe got elected. Then that meant that when he got in power, he wasn't working for the betterment of the country and everybody inside of it. He was working for his own personal enrichment and the enrichment of the cronies or the oligarchs from within his tribe that supported his rise to power. The white man, I would say that that's the cause of destabilization. I wouldn't even blame that on the white man. The white man is just kind of like benefiting from the destabilization.
Okay, so you went around telling me our history, although you're talking about Islam. I know about Islam. I'm a Christian. Your story about your history in Africa is totally wrong. You need to go and re-educate yourself. I'm telling you this as an African. I'm wearing the shoes and I know how it pinches. It's my origin to the core, and Africa lives in me. You cannot tell me my history. So what you're saying is completely wrong. You did not answer my question. So, you didn't talk about Libya's fall. I'm trying to get you to look at this picture where Libya was destabilized for certain reason, and the arms flew around there. In Nigeria right now, if you know what is happening in that area with all the Boko and stuff like that, you wouldn't say what you're saying right now. You just need to possibly
What
take
country
it.
are you from in
1 minute.
Africa?
1 minute. Don't interrupt me. I am a Nigerian. So when you come to Nigeria and you go to the northern part, don't just go to the southern part. Go to the northern part and go there. Stay where the Bokos are, and you will understand that the Nigeria northern side is close to the Sahel and stuff like that. So after Libya fell, those weapons, whichever way, fell in the hands of the wrong people. And I know what is going on in Africa better than you. You cannot argue that no matter how you try to be Africa, telling me my history, talking about slavery, talking about tribalism. Tribalism takes different forms and shapes. It's not just about language, it's about a gang, people who believe they are more superior and they form colonies. That can be tribal and it's dangerous. So it's like you have shit in your eyes. You haven't removed those shit, but you're busy looking at across at Africa, trying to remove their own shit for them. You're not helping. Yeah, you're not helping. So you did not answer my question. So obviously you're very ignorant about Africa and Africa's problems. And from where I'm standing, you don't have the right to judge Ibrahim, whether he's good or bad. If people from African continent, whether they're ignorant or stupid, say this is what we want, let Africans sort themselves out. It's only a matter of time if they will ever sort themselves out. We shall see, even if they don't, but let them go through those pain and fight for their rights. Whichever way they deem fit, it may look wrong in your eyes. You're used to democracy. Maybe we
So
have
I'm
to
not an
go back to
African person.
1 minute, 1 minute. Don't speak over me because it is disrespectful from where I come from. When you speak, I will not speak over you.
You
I
just
believe in
insulted
respect.
me for 5 minutes, and now you're talking about disrespect.
I never spoke over you.
All right,
You, but you,
hey, hold on, one mic. Miss Mello, you got 30 seconds.
All right. So my last question to you is that from where you are, can you, from America, determine clearly what is happening in Africa on the ground? Can you see
yes.
what can you see Burkina Faso's than its citizens? And are you looking into Africa from your faraway lens? Do you know what it feels like to be African or Burkinabe?
Okay. You're not listening. You didn't listen to anything I said earlier. I never said anything about me knowing everything that's going on in Burkina Faso. What I said was people need to be slow to judge Burkina Faso, whether it's good or bad, because we don't know what's going on over there, because the dictator has silenced all media.
As a dictator,
So,
you have to give it
wait a
right.
minute. This is exactly what I said. Dinus can confirm that. Once I said that, everybody got emotional. They got angry. They started
Call him a
tripping.
dictator. You haven't given him time.
The man is a dictator. He overthrew the government, and now he is
You're not
doing
taking your
every.
word advice.
You
Donna's
asked me a
question been
question.
asked. We're
You
still
asked
waiting
me a
for answer,
question. You gotta let
please.
me
We're
answer
still
it.
waiting for answers,
You
please,
asked
Donna.
me a
Direct
question. You
questions were
gotta let
asked.
me
We need
answer it.
answers.
Dinus, can you start my time over? So I can. Thank you. Okay, so we don't know what's going on coming out of that country. What I know for a fact is none of you Negroes are going to go over there and find out. That's what I know.
That
So
we know.
I said,
Hey, don't interrupt
you
him. Go
guys,
ahead.
you guys know if you interrupt me, my time starts over. So what I said was, don't be so quick to praise Traore. A year ago, I made a video bashing Traore. You know what I said? I made another video. I said, you know what? I'm going to give this guy a chance. I'm not going to bash him for a whole year. I'll wait to see if he does these elections. That was 2 years ago. He canceled the elections last year. I still didn't bash him. I said, I'll give him another year. I'm telling you, he promised elections for this year again in July. If he doesn't do the elections, I'm going to start bashing him. I gave him a chance. All he's doing is proving to be a dictator. All negative press has been silenced. No one is perfect. So why aren't we getting any criticism of you from journalism in your country? That's because you're eliminating all the critics. It doesn't matter what you say. Nobody is 100% loved in any place, anywhere, especially a politician. When I'm not getting any negative press about you, now I'm getting skeptical. I'm saying you're doing something to silence the press. That means to me, he is doing what they're saying he's doing, and he wants to hide it. Bro gotta have an election at this point, in my opinion.
Can I respond,
Can I
please?
Why
answer?
does he
Please, can
need
I
to have an
respond to that?
election? Why does he need?
Can I say something? Donis,
Prince,
Donis, can I
Prince,
say something,
can I
Donis? Donis, I would
respond?
like to respond since I question, since
I
I
am
asked
the
the
one that
question.
asked the question, please. Can I respond if it's possible?
No. Bandit, go ahead, Bandit. Unmute yourself.
Okay. Hello, can everybody hear me?
Yes.
Yeah. As much as I love Ibrahim Traore, and I don't like the fact that Brandon's bashing him, I just want to say you guys got to be ready to take criticism, even for the people you care about. Because, like, again, like I said, here's the one thing I'm asking. I'm just going to straight up ask. Are there any Burkinabes that are on this panel?
Hey, Bandit, are you on speakerphone?
I'm using my headphones.
Yeah, man. Listen, guys, you guys call in on these trash Obama phone headphones. Stop it.
Oh.
Stop calling on the trash Obama phone headphones. Talk directly into your phone, please.
Oh, so take it off? Okay, hold on.
Yeah, it just sounds terrible. These headphones are terrible. These are the fake Apple Temu headphones. Stop calling
Okay.
headphones.
Okay, hold on. Can y'all hear me?
Yes, you sound a whole lot better now. Go ahead.
Oh yeah. As much as I don't like as much as I like Ibrahim Traore, the one thing I have to say is I see everybody here calling Brandon a coon and everything about it, but all he's doing is just doing proper criticism of him. There's things that I know that he did right, and there's things that's going to be done that's wrong. But this is a discussion. It's not necessarily. Is it a discussion or is this like a debate? I don't know. If this is a I don't know. But given the fact is this, is there any Birkenau? Like I said, if on Brandon's point, my big question is this: is there any Burkinabes on the panel?
I am Burkinabe.
Huh?
I am from Burkina Faso.
Who's talking? I didn't see here.
Saint James. I'm from Burkina Faso.
There is one. Yeah.
That currently lives in Burkina Faso.
Now you know he lives on the west side.
So let me ask you a question. Is that question relevant to what you're asking?
Yes, it is.
Ask next?
Yes,
No.
Brandon, don't interrupt, Brandon.
So
it is relevant.
Yeah, I don't currently live there. I don't currently live there right now, but I visit a lot. I visit a lot.
When was the most recent that you visited it?
The last time I was back home was in 2023. I was there for 8 months.
Ah, hell no.
Okay, so what would your what's based on your assessment? What is the what is your opinion on the assessment with like Ibrahim Traore?
As far as what?
Like, is he doing good or is he doing bad? How do you feel?
A lot of things that he promised to the people of Burkina Faso that he was gonna do, is doing that. He's facing a lot of challenges, and he's still fulfilling his promises.
So why don't you go move over there?
Hey, Adonis, if this guy respond again,
home.
so you don't have the same rules, right?
Right.
If you see when I came here and I asked direct questions, I asked direct questions. No, he can't bully me. Trust me. I asked direct questions for names. He can't do it. So now he's filibustering because he know I'm here. So he's gonna be doing that for the entire life. He's gonna be doing that. So I get it.
Okay.
So Donald, I'm just letting you know. I asked direct questions for names. He could not provide them.
Okay, I got it. Respond to Bandit. Go ahead.
Okay, so So he's been there for 2 years.
General
So like
Langley's
any,
coming for your dictator.
oh my God,
Brandon,
Donis.
Brandon, I'm trying to hear. Go ahead, say. Go ahead.
That's why you changed the name of your channel, because we knew who you are now, bro. So he said he wasn't gonna bash Traore. I'm from Burkina, bash him every day. When you wake up, bash him. When you go to sleep, bash him. We don't care. Just do that. You are irrelevant to us, so it doesn't matter. So criticism, we take that. Donis, you go to Senegal. You have francophone friends, right? I want you ask them every Sunday. Tell them what's going on in Burkina Faso. I can give you the name of the channels, the TV shows. You have Burkinabés there criticizing the regime of Traore, giving their opinion, open opinion, the things they like, the things they don't like. These people they don't disappear. They're there. The medias are there. Every single one of them, before he came to power and now, they're still there. No, it's not closed. Everybody has an opinion. We're not stupid people. We are not led by stupid people. Like I told the guy, when the president comes in, he has an agenda. There are certain things he's going to be doing in a certain period of time. There are certain, you're going to face challenges. Those challenges, sometimes you're going to have to wait and help out. That's what we are doing. If you know what terrorism is, the victor. Let me finish. The victory gets, trust me, those people who don't like him, make sure we have some setbacks. So those are the setbacks that the Western propagandas are using against the regime. Yesterday, the brother went on the channel and say, Traore is losing steam. So do you think someone from Burkina Faso who said he wants safety and security for his people, the more territory he loses,
we got to pass the mic. Go ahead and ask your question. Next question, Brandon, Bandit.
Yes. Dang it, I almost forgot what my question is. My thing is there any sources that you could have that you could point everybody to, so that way, like, we can get like legitimate sources we can go into, so we can
I told you all the medias are open. It's up to you. If you are francophone, this can help out a lot. Unfortunately we are not anglophone people, so I don't know how this news can translate to you. But
I mean, I don't mind using captions on YouTube. They translate somewhat.
Okay, so go to the private medias in Burkina Faso. See which ones are there.
But one more opinion.
Then,
I was kind of a little bit skeptical. Like I said, I like Ibrahim Traore and stuff like that. But when I was listening to a lot of stuff, it wasn't just him. I was kind of curious. I was like, some things I was looking at, like with the AES, like for example, like in Nigeria, they just they were threatening to kick out a Chinese company because they were paying Chinese workers over a lot more. They were criticizing because they were paying Chinese workers more than they were paying the basic the Nigerian citizen there.
That's
the reason
true.
why I criticized stuff like that was simply because I mean, that's kind of logical that they pay those Chinese workers more because those are international workers. You know, you're not going to go overseas and stuff and work at another job unless you know the pay is going to be, unless somebody's going to raise your pay or whatnot. I was looking at that.
The disparity was big. That's why they were talking about. Nobody mind the international workers to get paid a little more to adjust to the standards. I get that. But the disparity they find from the people that came there internationally and the local was big, is very high. That's why they were complaining about. And for those situations, they always ask the company to adjust it. They give them time to adjust. If they don't, then we have a problem. That's what it is. No one will make a quick decision just to terminate a contract and make sure people are, on the ground, don't have jobs. No one will want to do that, but most of the time the Western propaganda will put it in your face like that. Oh, these people are being kicked out. They don't want them. That's what it is. It's not true.
But like I said, though, I don't hate Ibrahim Traore or anything like that.
No, you can hate him. That's fine. That's
but then I started seeing stuff like what I think Al Jazeera made a what was it? Al Jazeera? That's the company, the journalist company. They posted something about it.
Yeah. And, my brother, if you listen to Al Jazeera, right? Whatever news media you want to listen to Al Jazeera. You listen any kind of news that you listen to. You are a grown man. You have to put all this information together. All of them. Those who listen to Al Jazeera, and those who don't listen to. Who pay for Al Jazeera to exist? What's the motive? Why are they doing? Why are they writing this article? You have to understand why. If you don't understand the motive, so you can read a report and believe it in 2025, don't do that. Don't do that.
But I got one more question.
You can form an opinion, but not make a judgment.
I got one more
Traore is the
question though.
Dan Calloway of Africa.
Hey, Brandon, come on, Brandon. Brandon, just chill
Yeah.
out.
No,
Hey,
let the man let him do what he
Stigamus,
does, man. He
can I
knows
ask you one
me.
more question?
He knows me.
Brandon, they're on this
I
platform.
think dissenting opinion should be allowed.
I'll hold my tongue after that. I won't say nothing else afterwards.
Go ahead. I'm gonna pass it to Elvis. Go ahead, Bandit.
All right. So Stigmas, like my big question as a
Brandon that owns this
Burkinabe.
platform?
Oh man,
As,
come on. Shoot, be quiet. Go ahead, Bandit.
okay, as a Burkinabe, I was gonna ask you, what would your criticism be of Ibrahim Traore? I mean, if you think since you think he's a good leader, like what would your criticisms be?
What would it be?
Yes.
I believe it has to. I believe the
All of your
president.
peers that live there.
Yeah, all my peers. I believe for them to be more open to show what the government is doing internationally. You know, I believe they should engage the external world a little differently. That's what I believe in, because when you go for tick of tack, sometimes it doesn't work. You have, like you said, if you have skepticism about someone, that doesn't mean you are not inclined to believe what is happening within that country. I get that, but that's why we have to work harder to make sure those people who have those skepticism can come in so they can see for themselves exactly what's happening. I was happy last month because I saw a lot of Anglophone YouTubers in my country for the first time. I was happy because most of the time, since we are Francophone, people are scared because they don't speak the language. They're scared how they will be received. So I'm showing a lot of Anglophone. So maybe those YouTubers who speak English can relate more to you. You are an American. You speak the language. So I want them to relay the message on the ground for those of you who don't speak French, so you can understand exactly what's happening on the ground. I was happy to see that for the first time, and I want them to do more. I want the government to do more, so we can we can have a lot of news coming out of Burkina Faso in different languages.
I gotta pass the mic. Go ahead, Elvis.
All right. Thank you, Diners, and shout out to the panel in the chat. Look, St. James, we had a long conversation about this topic. The other night we spent like 3 or 4 hours on the phone talking about it. And I think, in all fairness, right, the one issue about Burkina Faso is exactly what you said. There's a lot of disinformation or distorted information that we get in the international community because for the most part, we don't speak French, like you said. So this has been painted as something that's going on the continent that's great. This is an exemplary leadership that many Black people should be looking to emulate. So for myself and people like Brandon and others who really want to dig deeper and get the real true story, like you said, we want to get it from the horse's mouth, and we don't speak French or we don't understand French. So if you're trying to go into Burkina Faso and get diverse and views and opposite views on people who are praising the president to kind of get a balanced perspective, you can't really do that from the local level because most of the time it's going to be a language barrier. So we had the conversation, and from what we spoke about, I learned a lot of things. Although I'm still skeptical in certain aspects, but I think it's only fair. You're a smart person to recognize that most people apprehension about Traore is about the elections. Now, some Africans will say, "Well, we don't care about elections. Africans are not Democrat in a way, anyways. We don't care about democracy. We want to have a leader who's doing the right thing, regardless of whether we go to elections or not. Like what we see in Rwanda, even though they have periodic elections, but we know it's not really a democracy. It's more of a dictatorship. So for those of us who live in the West, I mean, we've become acclimated to free and fair elections every 4 years. And I think we like that. We think that's a better system. So if Traore is doing well, most people, their biggest thing is he should legitimize himself through elections. And we've talked about this in James. You think you don't think that's the most important thing. You want him to get the country under control first. You want him to take care of more domestic things. within that first 5 years before he holds elections. So on the part of Brandon, I think is the same angle that I took with you, and we kind of hash it out. But it's only fair when people have these apprehensions, and I don't think we should attack them because
No, I did
Traore
not
is being
attack it,
sold.
brother. I
Oh
did
yeah, the
not
30
attack it,
second.
brother.
Yeah, 30 seconds, please. Traore is being sold to the international to the diaspora in the West and other places. The reality is, people like myself and others, who, of course, we want to dig deeper. We're not just going to take the narrative. We want to see what's really going on the ground. And since that language barrier is there, many people look at other outlets who may really not be on the ground. So that's why we appreciate the fact that you're a Burkinabe and you can kind of tell us some things that we probably wouldn't know if we try to do it ourselves based on a language barrier. So overall, I think he's doing well. But my biggest, thing with him is he should hold elections to legitimize himself. All of this popularity that we see coming from the country, let him go to the ballot box and get reinforced by the people's vote. And that way, anything that he does after that is legitimized, and we know that he's a legitimate president who has been elected and not just a coup, a president who came to power through a coup. So that's my point. I'll pass the mic back.
Let me read this super chat. Lion Champion, thank you for $4.99. Holla. If you hear white men or Brandon praising me, then know that I've betrayed you. Samora Mache. All right, go ahead, City.
Dinus, real quick, Dinus, can I ask you something real quick?
No. Let me pass it to City. Then you can ask your question. Go ahead, City. City, unmute yourself, City. City, unmute yourself. All right, we got it. All right, go ahead, Brandon. Ask your question. Go ahead.
Dinus, General Langley said he's going to the store. You want to bring you back a gold mine?
All right.
Dinus.
Can I say something?
Please, can I
Go
say
ahead,
something,
go ahead,
please?
sister.
Brandon is taking
I
over
just,
the whole platform. Can I
I
say
just
something?
wanted
It's not
to.
fair.
Hey, yeah. So there's more than one person talk. I can't hear. Go ahead, woman.
What I was gonna say to both Brandon, but I think Elvis more recently said it. This big argument that he didn't have an election and so he needs to be suspect. Well, I don't understand what's so great about elections anyway. As you said yourself, Elvis, the history of Africa, it's not a continent where this whole democracy and having elections every 4 years, this is something that colonizers put in place or supposedly put in place, and it doesn't work here. And why are we so hung up on the fact that if he has an election, that's going to legitimize him? The people have already voted. They've already legitimized him through their voice, because when he was going to step down, they told him no. The Burkina Bay people told him, no, we want you to stay in place and finish doing what you're doing. So the people have already spoken. He's already been legitimized in that way. So why should people from the outside, like Brandon and the other naysayers, keep harping on this idea about he needs to have an election, Just because this is what white people do doesn't mean that this is what the African has to do. It has not worked even in the West. The elections in America are not quote unquote free and fair. In no way, shape, or form are they free and fair. So why is it that you're putting this huge, big obstacle in front of him and condemning him, claiming he's a dictator, etc., because he hasn't had an election? The people in Burkina Faso have already spoken, and they told him to stay in place and to continue the work he started. So this focus on this, he didn't have an election type of thing, to me, it's nonsense. It's something easy to pull out and say that's why I don't believe in him, when the reality is a lot of black men see this young man doing something that they would never ever be able to even fathom accomplishing in their lifetime, and it's a lot of jealousy.
All right, let me pass it to Maximilian. Go ahead, Maximilian.
Jealousy, that's true.
Go ahead, Maximilian. Go ahead, Maximilian.
Hey, Dennis, so it's Friday. Happy Friday, everybody. Let's get to the point of it. The president of Burkina Faso is in a very precarious situation now. Is Burkina Faso ready for election? No, they're not. And he needs to stay in there and do what he needs to do to get the country. The man just left a civil war with people murdering people all over the streets. He's brought order there. And I'm not the best character of people. The brother seems like he's got, the Burkina Faso in the best interest. He's looking out for the country. You have to have somebody that puts order there. Give the man time to get order. Y'all already talking about elections when the French people are still trying to ease their people back in there. Let the man get some order there first. 3 years from now, ask for the election. Right now, you need somebody who's going to stabilize that country. use their own resources, take their own stuff and start keeping their gold, manufacturing stuff in your country. What other president has ever done that in Burkina Faso? Who else are you going to get other than him? Let that man do what he has to do. He's taking a broken people and making them respect themselves. I respect that president. I think he's doing a damn good job because nobody else in Africa is doing what he's doing now. Leave that young man alone and follow him. Now, when it's time to call him out in 3 years for doing something wrong, call him out. But right now, he's doing what Africa needs. Not just Burkina Faso. He's doing what the whole continent of Africa needs. A strong leader. Let the man lead and leave him alone. That's my opinion, Diamond.
Thank you.
All right, guys. Make sure you hit that like button. Please hit that like button. Go ahead, Wildflower.
Yeah. Just to add, this obsession with having an election that, you know, is gonna legitimize Traore, but we're actually really thinking it's gonna legitimize him in the eyes of white supremacy, because this is a system that they like, a system that always benefits them. So the people that are like, we must have election, otherwise he's this, he's that, and we don't trust him. That you're not really asking the Burkinabe people if they want elections, if they come out and say, you know, millions of them on the street, then, but they already said to him, no, don't step down. The country is in a very delicate place right now. They are trying to stabilize it. Let the country, right now you have jihadists still trying to occupy the country. You know, you've got the Europeans, the Americans, they're all doing all kinds of things in the background. How can you have elections? And think about how hypocritical this is. America and the EU have allowed Ukraine to go for the last couple of years, no election. The people in Ukraine won elections. But Zelensky is saying, no, we can't have elections because I'm in a war and we get it. See what I mean? And the same people saying about freedom of press. When Russia and Ukraine started having a war, guess what? RT, Russian news in the UK and in Europe was shut down in America. Why can't we see the other side of the story? Eh? What a cheek. This is meant to be the height of democracy, and they shut down RT News for the UK public, so we can't see a different point of view what's happening on the front line. We can only get BBC News. We're okay with
a lie. RT was shut down on YouTube, not in America.
Hey, Brandon, let her finish. Let her finish.
Was shut down. I can't get RT. So it's kind of like, oh, we're going to tell you what to know, what's happening on the front line. But we're okay with it happening in their countries. But now we're forcing a country in Africa that's going through so much. Why aren't you allowing freedom of press? We don't have freedom of press. I want to see RT News here in the UK because I used to get it and they took it away. Talk about freedom of press. Where's freedom of press? But in Africa, we put all these, they must do it like this when we don't actually practice what we preach. Practice what you preach.
So my takeaway from this conversation tonight is that there is no proof of any news media in Africa, private or public, closed under Ibrahim Traore, and there is no journalist that disappear in Burkina Faso. This is my takeaway. If you have any proof that what I said is wrong, just let us know, give us the name, and we can go from there. If we don't, then you don't. So don't sit here and quote.
Hey, Brandon, put the link in the back chat.
Put the links. Dynas, you just pulled it up on the CPJ website.
Can I say something?
What did I say about that? These journalists. Listen, can I have 1 minute, 1 or 2 minutes? 1 or 2 minutes.
It's not your turn.
Okay, hold on. Say, James, you can have 1 minute, not 2 minutes. Go
ahead. Let me have my 1 minute. Remember, Donis, when I came here, I told you this journalist wear many hats. I'm from the continent. Everybody wants to eat. In the morning, they're journalists. At night, they have political party. The next morning, they were trying to sabotage the government. That's what they do. Those journalists, when they got caught, their phone were taken away from them. They saw conversation with external powers. They took their laptop. They saw it. You see what I'm saying? They have evidence. These people don't want to deny. Even when there is a video of these 3 journalists in military uniform, if you listen to them talking, you would understand. They will even say, oh, we don't mind being here. Bro, you have evidence of people Ibrahim has taken to accompany the military. And you see the statement they make. They will tell you they learn, they will come back, they will make sure they got the proper information. They don't get killed. Like I told you, military are trained for years. Can you do you see Burkinabes? Let President Traore take a civilian within a week, put him on the battlefield, and let him get killed, and we will accept that. And that's going to be a solution for us. We would never accept that. Okay,
1 minute
thank
is
you.
up.
Go ahead, Brandon.
I'm
Go ahead,
not on
Brandon.
your channel, sir.
Hey,
Go
oh no,
ahead, Brandon.
listen.
Brandon,
Okay,
Brandon, you got 1 minute. I got to pass the hello. Go ahead,
this
Brandon.
gonna
Brandon
be
has
real.
spoken too much, Prince.
This
Okay,
gonna be
Brandon,
real.
you got 1 minute. I pass the hello. Don't interrupt. Go ahead, Brandon.
This gonna be real
Actually,
fast.
no
Don't
one even
interrupt
care
me.
about what he has to say.
Don't interrupt me.
Oh man, y'all chill out. Go ahead, Brandon. You got 1 minute. I got to pass the hello. Go ahead.
Okay, so first of all, just looked it up. I already knew it. RT News was never banned in the United States. This is not your socialist, communist dog dunghill of UK. We don't engage in that type of censorship. They were never banned. They were removed from social media platforms by the owners of those social media privately owned
Why?
companies. Okay.
Freedom of press.
Next,
Hey,
I get another minute. I get another minute.
Don't interrupt, please.
I get another minute. Okay, next. We produced the proof. We posted the article from the CPJ. These people will deny any proof you produce. They will say it's propaganda. They will say, oh, look, they hate Traore. So why keep asking for proof when no matter what we put up, you're gonna deny it? Nice try, buddy.
You presented a video, you presented a picture.
Oh, man,
I got another minute.
To do, man.
I got another minute.
Go ahead.
Okay.
No, you don't. You don't. You're
I
done.
love this
I
rule.
thought you done though.
No, he wasn't.
I love
done.
this rule.
Done. You're just talking trash, man.
I would tell you guys when you could come. Okay, go ahead, Brandon.
Okay, the last thing. This guy is trying to play bird brain psychology on us. Why would the president of Burkina Faso put untrained journalists on the front line? Who would allow that? He would, because he wants them to get killed. Duh. That's what you do. This is the tactic.
God. This is not a Crip versus the block.
Listen, let me say something. All right, so on my platform, all opinions are welcome. Okay. Period. That's just how I operate. All opinions are welcome. I know some people get upset, but that's just what it is. So let Brandon has his minute. If you guys continue to interrupt him, he's gonna get an extra minute.
No one
Go
is
ahead,
upset,
Brandon.
Prince. Absolutely, no one is upset.
He does the same though. He does the same.
Dinus.
No one is upset.
Oh, my minute starting over, baby.
Again, but you got guys. Listen, the more you interrupt him, the more he's gonna get an extra minute. So just be quiet for a minute. It's called discipline. Go ahead.
Call me nicely. Don't say be quiet. That's rude. Thank you.
Go ahead, Brandon.
Dinus, you are an exemplary leader. I would elect you as the leader of Burkina Faso because I know we will be in good hands. Those people will be in good hands. Let me just start by saying that. Love the new 1 minute rule. Dinus, we do not engage in bird brain psychology. We all know, I even gave the example of David in the Bible, that when kings or rulers want to get rid of opposition but not be blamed, what do? They put that opposition on the front line. The less training they have, the better, because that means they'll get killed quicker. If you've ever watched the movie Man in the Iron Mask, King Louis wanted to seduce the guy's fiance. What did he do? He took, the guy's name was, I forgot his name, but he took the guy and put him on the front line in the French war with England. That guy got killed. So when you keep trying to use bird brain psychology on us, all I gotta say to you, buddy, is Langley is coming. He's gonna overthrow that country with a cactus cooler and 2 bags of Funyuns, and then your butt gonna be going crying premium tears, talking about how the U.S. is the colonizer. And guess what? I'm gonna laugh at you. That's it.
Can I respond since I was addressed?
Yeah, go ahead, say James. You got a minute. Go ahead.
Brandon, this is not the blood and Crips fighting in California. You know, sometimes when you want to make a statement, you got to understand there are a lot of people talking, sir. So this is not the Bloods and Crips. I know you were a gangbanger, but so, you know, things have changed. So Longley, right? Longley that you praise a lot. And I think it looks like you, you know? So you both can come together and see what happens. Otherwise, so since you have that idea, come by yourself first and see what happens to you. Since you're a tough guy and you know exactly what can happen to us, why don't you come yourself and see what happens? Second of all, Brandon, since I was a child and
When
until
we gonna
now,
catch that
the
thing
only
for
Hey,
him?
Brandon, say James got an extra minute. Go ahead, Sir
okay,
James.
thank you very much. The only journalist that was killing my country was in 1998. 1998, but Blaise Compaoré. We don't have a history of killing journalists. We don't have a history of making journalists disappear. And Ibrahim Traore knows that. He knows better not to do that. So the answer to your question, you already know. He knows it. So the only journalist that was killed was one guy that got killed under Compaoré. So everything that this dude is saying is irrelevant to us right now. So he's trying to prop up his channel. He want to say all kind of bombastic information to sway people to go to his channel. I get it. Like I told you, if you want to criticize Traore, even before your breakfast, put 5 videos on Traore. Go into bed, put 10 of them. I don't care. You are irrelevant to us. And I'm gonna touch Nigeria a little bit. I don't know if that guy from there was a Nigerian guy talking, giving stat, right?
You only got like 10 seconds, bro. So
Okay, the 10-second would be since Tinubu came to power, how is the human ritual has gone up in Nigeria or has decreased? Just what I want to know.
Go ahead, Maximilian.
Hey, Dennis, I'm gonna end with this one. I think I've listened to enough about this American stuff. I'm an American. Dennis is American. Please stop walking around like America runs this whole damn world. What they're doing in Burkina Faso is Africa's business. That's Burkina Faso's business. America does not. If America decided what we gonna do, our asses would still be in chains. When you resist, America doesn't run anything. America, they are cowards. When you stand up for yourself and you start charging for your resources, when you start taking your resources back, they don't like it, but you have to do that. The same people that y'all talking about is so powerful, they're nothing.
We were powerful enough to whoop your Indian ass.
Hey, I get paid every month, $2,500 a month. What do you get?
We kicked the Navajos' butt.
Be quiet. You are ignorant Negro defending white people, talking about what Africa cannot do for itself when it has more resources than anybody else, and you are a foolish young black man. You be sitting there supporting a country that enslaved your black ass and is trying to enslave Africa, and that man is trying to break that damn chain. You should know better, brother. Your grandfather was a slave. Your grandmother had to piss in a damn room that white people that wouldn't even throw their damn shoes in. How dare
Hey,
you?
chat, what y'all want Langley to bring y'all back from the store?
Let me finish. Let me finish.
Hey, Brandon, don't interrupt. Let's have the quorum. Go ahead, Maximilian.
So what we gonna do is let that man do his job and stop telling me what America is. America's got a hell of a history. It has no right to be said to be a moral compass of anybody. America didn't. No other country dropped a Hiroshima bomb on nobody. Nobody's ever cut a child out of their mother's womb. This America is a nasty ass place. It has no right to be telling any country what to do. They should be quiet. And Jonas, you know why I got that
Dennis,
from.
can I come in?
That's Minister Farrakhan. America should be quiet when it comes to moral character.
All right, go ahead,
Jonas,
Elvis.
I love y'all, and I'm gone.
All right, please go ahead, Elvis. I'm passing the set too. Then we'll close out. Go ahead, Elvis.
All right, thank you. Look, you know, I'm an African.
Yes.
Go ahead, Elvis.
Yeah, I'm an African. We have a lot of African on the platform, and I just want to understand our mindset because we've, you know, when we're in Africa, we cried about dictatorship. When we're living under them, we want democracy. We want our own people who we look at as political heroes to possibly be elected into office. So I want to hear from the Africans. Are you guys saying that, you know, this new word that we found as Africans, a benevolent dictator, is a good thing? Somebody who can be in power for indefinitely, simply because they're quote unquote doing the right thing. Is that our mindset now, that in Africa democracy is unwarranted? As long as this person is doing the right thing, he should have an indefinite stay in power. I just want to understand that. Maybe I thought we wanted something else.
Not really, because the democracy which the West is trying to force us in is their way. You know, they want to control us, so they want to define how our democracy should work. We need to be free to come up with our own. Like for me, I'm not saying that benevolent dictator are great or are good. No, but people have to be given time to organize themselves, to organize their social system, political system, not to be forced in this so-called democracy, which actually is not democracy, but is democracy. It's just the way of controlling us without no democracy. Because democracy is not only going to vote. Democracy is a respect of human right, respect of right of opinion, respect of laws that people decided for their own countries. But the West is trying to push only us, putting, choosing or putting a ballot in the ballot box without us having the power to decide who become our president. And that's what people are refusing.
Yeah.
Make it a republic like America.
If we have things in the hospital, if we have good medication, the roads are built, we have all these fake puppet leaders. They're not doing any of that. So what about going out there, those democratic coups that they've done? Democratic coups, so what the West does is impose a leader they select, and they make sure that person gets the vote anyway. So when they say we want democracy, it's that we want our guy in. So what about if we're going to have somebody else come in and do it another way and go against them, I'm all in. And especially if he's actually providing tangible results, I can see with my own eyes.
All right, let me pass it to set two. And then set two, then Kafuni, then we got to close out. Go ahead, set two.
Hey, may God's peace and mercy be upon everybody in this panel. Today I came just to, say something very simple about.
Set two, are you on speakerphone or are you on? Are you using like a headset?
I'm using a headset. Let me go back and set it up on my phone right now.
Yeah, I'd like to say something, Dinus.
Go ahead, Kafuni. Go ahead.
Yeah, I just want to thank you for having this very vibrant conversation. And I agree with what Maximilian was saying, that, this is Africa's business. And we should be able, when I say we, because I'm an African ascendant, I don't like to say I'm an African descent, because I'm not descending into anything. I am ascending. I am ascending into how great a people we are and what we will be. I do not want to see America or any other nation other than, maybe China or Russia, because they never enslaved African people, period. Russia never did it, and China never imposed these restrictions on the continent of Africa. My prayer is for us to be free of a colonialistic mindset. Freedom for a right to be determined. Self-determination is our birth right.
Absolutely.
And what the other sister was saying, that, everybody's talking about elections, and there were many African countries right now that don't have elections, as if democracy is the all in. It's not. Democracy has ties to it. It's what do you call it? Like strings attached to if they come in. I want freedom, and freedom doesn't mean that you can do whatever you want to do, because we had our own systems in place before the colonizers came in. And someone, and I'm going to land my plane in a second. Someone spoke about it's Muslims don't fight, against Muslims because of whatever. But look what they're doing to the Palestinians. I don't see any Arab country going over to Palestine to give them, freedom. They have been practicing genocide every single day, but yet their Muslim brothers and sisters all over the world will not go in as a collective vibration to shut that shit down. So I'm going to land my plane. May peace be upon everyone, and to Brendan, I never voted for Trump and I never voted for Kamala. I don't believe in democracy because there's two tiers of government in America. And you better know that. If you don't know it, I feel sorry for you. One love, Dinus. Keep up the great work.
Yeah, I
Let
appreciate it. Thank
Africa
you.
be free.
Thank
Africa
you.
must be free.
All right, set two. You the last one, and we got to close out. Go ahead, set
Yep.
two.
Thank you so much, Dennis, and thank you so much, sister, for what you just said. And I think it sum it all because we need like liberation fighters, like we need freedom fighters. We need to be also strategic. We need to be mindful about what's going on. We need to be also like careful. And when I say careful, I'm trying to address the current leader of Burkina Faso. We wish him well. I personally wish him well, and I just don't want no harm to come towards him because we need him to stand his ground and be able to defend himself. But we don't even want to get to a point where he has to defend himself. We need to protect him. And I'm from Senegal. I have so much respect for Thomas Sankara, but he was killed, and I don't want Ibrahim Traore to be killed. We don't want no more Thomas Sankara. We don't want no more Malcolm X being
Well,
killed.
somebody wish him death on the pound, and no one said nothing. They wish him death.
I'm saying something right now, and I want you
They
just to
wish him
listen.
death, brother.
I don't.
No, nobody
That's
wished
not
him
what I'm
death. Go
saying.
ahead.
That's not what I'm saying. So please
Someone on the
listen.
panel wish him death. That's what I said.
Oh, okay. So you can address that by typing my message on the panel and just listen here and hear to what I'm saying. So I wish him good, and I wish everybody to be like, let's just be like, on the ground and know that, okay, we don't have to like just say, oh, Burkina Faso this, Burkina Faso that, and attract attention and people like, this is the propaganda mechanism that's going on. Even this whole information about it, people making videos saying they, dressing as soldiers and all that, that's very dangerous. I'm talking about protecting our integrity. It's not about democracy because, democracy has been corrupted. A lot of countries, we know, European countries that don't follow no damn democracy. I'm sorry to use this word, but I'm just a little bit frustrated when I see what's going on outside and they're trying to take us in democracy. We have to control our land. We have to control our people have economic growth. We have so much potential. We have to unite. And I also agree to what Maximilian has said before he left. We have to be united. We don't have to give no room for division. And that's all I want to say, Dinus. Thank you.
All right, we're going to go ahead and close out. Everyone, thank you so much for joining. Like, share, subscribe. Until next time, family, Dinus Amir, search for Huru. Peace.